Hello, everybody. All right, let's clear our throats and get this thing going. How's everybody doing tonight? Waiting for the little thing to catch up. I see there's like almost 300 people in here. That's pretty cool. How you guys doing? So let's start this thing off really quickly with what I call setting expectations. I have not done a live stream in a really long time for the general channel. For those who don't know, I actually do live streams twice a month on Patreon. This isn't a big selling thing that I'm doing here, but I do, for everybody at the $5 level and up, I do live streams on the Patreon channel. I do one during the week at night and one on the weekend during the morning, just because I know people live in different parts of the world, and that's just better timing for everyone. But I have not done one like for this channel in a long time, so I'm not sure what to expect. I don't know what to expect of you guys, but I wanted to set the expectation that for those of you who don't watch my live streams, or haven't been to one of my live streams, I am not, what's the word? Good at live streaming. I never have been. There's always technical issues. I always start late, which some of you guys, by the way, it is 8:04 right now. And at 8:02, there were people in the live chat like, where the hell is he? He's late. You guys are worse than the worst boss I've ever had in my life. Good Lord, people. Anyway, so again, I'm managing expectations. I am not very good at live streaming. I've always had technical issues. I am much better at writing out what I'm going to say and then saying it and editing it. I tend to sound a little bit more intelligent that way. Otherwise, I'm just rambling like I'm doing right now. So, before I get started, I was going to kind of run through what the plan for tonight was, but before I do that, I wanted to open up a little bit of wine and propose a toast, if I may. If you guys will indulge me for just a second. I'm holding it up like this, like you need to see it or something. Get that good audio. Gurgler, gurgler, gurgler. This is a Pinot Noir, by the way. So, you don't have to be drinking. I will be having a little bit of wine tonight to celebrate, but before I get out there, before I start going, if you have anything of the liquid variety around you, alcoholic or otherwise, don't drink, kids, I would like for you to hold it up, and I would like to make a toast, as cheesy as this is, I know, to all of you out there who have been a part of this channel, a part of this community, in Patreon or otherwise, in comments, in here right now, asking me to notice you, Daddy Senpai, and basically being such a great part of this channel, supporting me, encouraging me. There were many, I've been doing this 5 years now, and I would say for those 5 years, the only thing that really kept me going was people encouraging me and saying that they like what I do. And I applaud you for that. This is here because of you, and I thank you, and a toast to all of you. Thank you very much. If you didn't raise your glass, I'm going to come get you, by the way. I'm going to jump through this screen. You don't know what I'm capable of. You don't know me. Okay. Let me talk about really quickly what I plan to do tonight. This is very loosey-goosey. This is very just go with it. And, but I want to give you a little rundown of like what I'd like to do in the time that we have together tonight. And I don't know how long this is going to go, by the way. It's just going to go until it goes. First of all, I said before the last time that I did a live stream was about when I got to 100,000 subscribers. And by the way, I see all the live chats come down. I kind of see it out of my periphery. If you'll give me just a minute, I'm just going to kind of vamp. And I will eventually acknowledge you, I promise. And I'm seeing some super chats coming in, and I don't have time to thank all of you. I will get to you, I promise. You're not forgotten. It is appreciated. But last time I did this, I burped in the microphone. I made it a point to do a video where I called out some smaller YouTube channels, because I really do believe in paying it forward. I really do believe that I wouldn't have been here without the support, like I said earlier, but also without just some lucky breaks and just some support from bigger people, some bigger channels that have pointed the way and helped me out along the way. So I want to do that again. I'm going to say right now, some of these are not as small as I pointed out last time. Some of them are a little bit bigger. A few of them actually are just channels that I just kind of started watching lately, and I just thought that you guys would enjoy them too, because I've kind of fallen into some rabbit holes, and it kept me from getting a lot of work done. So anyway, I'm going to do that. I thought I would kind of revisit, just kind of take a look really quickly at my channel and show you what the top 10-ish videos of the channel are for all time. We're not going to watch them or anything, but I just kind of wanted to pull it up and just kind of see what it looks like, and just kind of give an idea of what kind of stuff you guys like to see, and see if that jives with what you're thinking. And then I want to talk just a little bit about just the future of the channel and where things are going from here. Kind of just in the last year, this channel has gotten to this whole new place. I just went to VidCon this last week, and that was sort of eye-opening. It was like being at this other level kind of thing. It was, anyway, I'm in a new place, and I'm kind of hacking my way through the jungle with a machete and only a compass to guide me. But I did want to kind of talk about what the plans are, where I'd like to go from here as this channel kind of enters this new phase, if that's a thing. Anyway. And then, of course, there will be question and answers. I will get right in here to the live chat and interact with you guys. I will say this is not like a pay-to-play kind of deal, but if you do a super chat, obviously I will put those first, because you're throwing money at me. Of course, I'm going to acknowledge that. But you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm just saying. I'm just being honest with you. There you go. So, and we do have a moderator in the chat, by the way. Brandon is helping us out. Everybody say hi to Brandon. And play cool. Be good. Be nice to each other. The bigger these live chats get and the bigger the channel gets, the more shenanigans go on, and you just kind of have to have a bouncer. So Brandon's our bouncer tonight. We're all friends here, but, you know, just be cool. Okay. Paying it forward. It's the paying it forward move. I am actually going to be drinking tonight, so this might get a little bit more interesting as time goes on. Let me put up on my screen who these people are. Hang on. Is that it? There we go. Hello, Google. So, yeah. Just going to kind of go through some of these channels. Probably, I would be amazed if you guys had never heard of any of these guys, because we all kind of travel in similar circles. I would just be shocked if you hadn't heard of them. But let me make sure we're all still good. Okay. So I've got a whole list of people who are EV related. You guys know I talk about EVs quite a bit. Tesla, obviously. Our Ludicrous Future, we talk about that a lot. And there's several channels that I watch to kind of keep informed on it. A lot of them have a lot of really good analysis of the situation, and they, I think, deserve bigger audiences than they have right now. So I'm going to go ahead and point them out real quick. So the first one is Transport Evolved, and this is hosted by Nikki Gordon Bloomfield, I think is her name. And see, she's already almost at 100,000, and that was shocking to me, because the last time I looked, she was much smaller than that. But so good for her. But this is a great channel. I encourage you to go check it out. She does not daily videos, but maybe 2 or 3 times a week. She posts very often. Maybe even more than that. Maybe it is daily. Anyway, but even though she posts daily, she still comes up with a lot of really great topics, and she has really great analysis of everything. So y'all go check out Transport Evolved. Next up is Shawn Mitchell from All Things EV. Again, I would be amazed if you guys didn't already know about his channel. He does a great job of analyzing. He focuses a lot on Tesla, but all things EV, that's not just Tesla. But he does a great job. He has great analysis of these things. He sometimes has a little bit of insider information because he knows people. So that's always a good place to go and get information. I'm a fan of Shawn. You guys should be as well. Next up, now you know. These guys are not small anymore. They're right up there over 100,000. They got their silver play button. This is Zach and Jesse. They do videos every Monday, and I think every Thursday. They're kind of copying me. No. They do like sort of a live show. They do an hour-long show, and they go really in depth on all the news of the week. Like, I don't really do news stories, but these guys are like news stories. And especially if you're just tired of FUD, These guys are the FUD busters. They always have something positive to say. Sometimes I disagree with them. Sometimes I think that they should be a little more critical than they are, but that's cool. I like them. Zach, Jesse, and I have never met, but we travel in similar circles. I think they do a great job, and if you're not following them, do follow them. Next up, again, somebody you've probably all heard of is Hyperchange TV. This is Galileo Russell. He's done a lot of stuff with Ben, and he actually contributed a little piece to something that I did a while back, and he does a great job. He kind of looks at not just Tesla, but all technologies from sort of a stock market approach, and he calls it hyperchange because he's looking at technologies that are disruptive, that are really going to throw the world in new directions. And he looks at it from a financial standpoint of like getting in there now while things are small and before they get big, and you can be a part of the whole world changing thing. And he's at 46 now, 46,000. And I think the last time I looked, he was at 23, so he's already doubled just recently. Great job. Where is the... Oh, he's not on there. Hang on. Okay. There's a channel called Life is Short. Let me see if I can... Oh, his name's Emmett Short. Hang on. No, I spelled it wrong. Emmett... There we are. Okay. I just stumbled upon Emmett recently. And he is kind of like a stand-up comedian who also has talked about Tesla stuff and just other life stuff. He has this little segment called Knee of the Curve. And as you can see, very small channel right now. He's just getting started. I actually subscribed to his channel, and he was nice enough to send me an email and thank me for subscribing. And I think he's got a lot of potential. I mean, he's got a really professional looking site, professional looking videos. You're going to be seeing more about this guy. I think he's really good. So show him some love if you're interested. At least go check out some of his stuff. Next up, I'm kind of flying through here real quick. So again, this is somebody that covers Elon stuff and technology stuff. This is Neoscribe. Not the smallest channel in the world. They're already at 84,000, but if you haven't heard of them, they're really, really good. And I think it's actually been a while since he's posted. Let me see here. Yeah, he hasn't posted in 4 months, so hopefully he hasn't abandoned his channel yet, and I'm not just throwing you at a channel that's about to go dead. But he does really great stuff. I'm sure he's just like on a break or taking care of some other stuff. Who knows? But anyway, if you haven't heard of Neoscribe, go check out Neoscribe. And last but not least, on the EV-related side is 2-Bit Da Vinci. Again, 74,000, not a small channel. They're doing pretty well. But they do really great breakdowns of Tesla stuff, and they got really great animations, and here's one that they did about Rivian. But they cover EV things, and they do little computer graphics, as you can see. I shouldn't say little. Those are nice computer graphics. But anyway, if you haven't heard of 2-Bit Da Vinci, they do great stuff. Definitely go and check those out. On the science tip, this is somebody else that has not posted in a while, and I hope she hasn't completely walked away. But this is Draw Curiosity. I think Inez, I will never say the name right, runs this channel, and she's a fantastic science communicator. She does fantastic science stuff, and she does like cool animations and stuff. She's really personable. I like her channel. And let's see, when was the last time she posted? Yeah, she hasn't posted in a few months, but hopefully she hasn't completely gone away. She's really good though. If you haven't watched her channel, go check it out. I am still here, by the way, in case you were wondering. I just realized that like that thing had been up this whole time, and I had to say, you know what? They need to see my face again. So okay, you're welcome. Moving on. So the next channel up that I wanted to bring up. Okay, so this is a little channel called Just Have a Think, and I keep saying little. He's actually grown quite a bit. Just recently, I think when I first caught him, he was only in like the early thousands. Like he's What's his name? Sorry, I forgot his name. His name is Dave Borlace, or Borlace. So this is like a climate change news kind of channel. I think he is an actual environmental scientist of some kind. He does a really great job for especially such a small channel at covering climate and science topics. And anyway, I've been a big fan since I started watching him, and I wanted to make sure and give him a little bit of love because he deserves it. All right, getting into a little bit more esoteric type stuff. These are not small channels. The next few are probably not going to be very small at all, but they're channels that I've been following for a while. And if there's one thing that I've learned while I've been doing this all this time is that if I think something is interesting, I think you guys will find it as interesting as I do, because we are just kind of like this. And the reason why we're like this is because you found my channel and we're like this. It turns out people are not all that different, and we have a lot of common ideas and stuff. And ideals. So the next few, again, they don't need my help. They're doing perfectly fine, but I get a lot out of watching these channels for various different reasons, and I just kind of wanted to point them your direction because I think you'll like them too. Anyway, Artifexian. This is a really interesting channel because it's about world building and language building. So he really deconstructs language as kind of like a linguist, and he kind of can show you how to construct a language, how to construct worlds, and that kind of thing. It's a really interesting channel, and if you haven't seen it, just recommend checking it out. Next up is Polyphonic. Okay, I actually met Noah, who runs Polyphonic, whose channel is actually bigger than mine. But I met him at tell you what, let me put my Facebook on screen. I'm so good at live streaming. Quick story while I'm in the middle of this. Somebody said no sound. Are you hearing me? You guys hearing me now? You're hearing me now. Okay. Quick sip. Check out that pinky. Look how high and toity I am here. Yes, I pinky drink. VidCon. I just went to VidCon, just got back from there, and I got to hang out at the house that Standard Broadcasts, who is sort of my network, my reps. If I had made up my mind earlier, I could have stayed there for free, but I waited until like 2 weeks before I left to make up my mind whether or not I was going. And anyway, I got to go to a barbecue and just kind of hang out, have some drinks, play some games with some of these guys, and I got to meet some of my YouTube heroes. It was absolutely mind-blowing. I'm talking Kurzgesagt, CGP Grey, Brian from Real Engineering, who I felt a little weird about because I've used so much footage from his videos, like animations that he's done, and I was kind of like, he was like, "Hey, you're Joe," and I'm like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh, you're Real Engineering? Oh, that's awesome." And he's Irish, so he's got that accent. And I was talking to him. I was like, in the back of my head, I'm going, "Oh God, I use so much of his stuff. Is this cool?" And I told him that. I was like, "I hope you don't mind. I've used a lot of footage of yours." And I was like, "I always give you credit. I always, link to your channel and everything." He was like, "Oh, it's okay." So he was really cool. But one of the people that I did get to meet is this guy. His name's Noah. He runs a channel called Polyphonic. It's not science related at all. It's a music channel, but he does he does amazing video essays on music, on taking popular music, deconstructing it. There are so many songs that are like pivotal and influential, and you don't really know why, and then he like breaks down why. And his stuff is so good. It's so good. I have fallen down so many rabbit holes with him. And I got to meet him. He was a super cool guy. But that's his channel. It's Polyphonic. If you're into music at all, which I grew up wanting to be a musician more than anything else, didn't quite work out that way, but watching his videos has really made me want to kind of go back and look at music again and consider, kind of diving back into that part of me that likes that. Anyway, so go check out his channel if you've never heard of it. Skyscraper Guitars. I want to call out my friend Greg. Greg, he has, I guess it's still going. He has a channel called Greg's Garage. That's how we met. And he has a background. Sorry, I'm having trouble talking. He's a guitar player, and I think used to actually like tour with bands. Like he has all these stories of bands that he used to like hang out with and stuff. But he's a guitar player, and he's also a maker. So he had Greg's Garage where he was like making stuff like CNC machines and stuff like that. And then he kind of just turned that attention to music and started making guitar accessories and guitar tools and stuff like that. So if you're like really into guitars and really like to modify and get in there and tweak and play around, he's definitely a channel to check out because he makes really cool stuff, and he does sell them on Amazon. So that's sort of his business now. And so if you're into guitars, go watch his channel, but also go check him out on Amazon because he's got a lot of really cool like tools and stuff there that you might want to see. Greg is a buddy of mine, and I wanted to show him some love, so you guys go look at that. Soliloquy is another one of these channels that I really can't believe isn't any bigger than it is. This is what I've been getting all this time. It's like, why aren't you bigger? It's kind of hard to describe what they are. They're sort of a general knowledge channel. And sometimes it gets into like geopolitics sort of stuff. I mean, the description here is the world is full of interesting things, ideas, people, history, events, and species. And yeah, he just kind of does interesting videos about those things. No, I mean, if you haven't heard of this channel, it's kind of worthless for me to sit here and try to point it out, but like, or try to explain it. But he talks about history, he talks about geography, and, you know, if you like my channel, if you like channels like Windover Productions or Half as Interesting, Real Life Lore, any of those channels, you'll like this guy. He's really good. All right, so this one is one that if you are not following him, then you and I can't be friends. I mean, it's pretty much just that simple. Serbia. All right, hang on. Let me jump out of here real quick. Guys, I get a lot of comments from people talking about how my channels should be called Existential Dread with Joe. Rightfully so. I get it. I do talk about those kind of topics quite a bit. If you like that kind of thing, which makes you a little weird, but that's okay. But if you like that kind of thing, which I know a lot of you guys do because you say so in the comments and stuff like that, you just have to watch this channel. It's so brilliant. A lot of language if you're uncomfortable with that, but we're all adults here, I think. Are we? I don't know who's out there. But anyway, Serbia is just a hilarious channel. And you can see right there in its little cover art, it says, "Existence is terrifying." That's the slogan of the channel, is "Existence is terrifying." So if you do like the sort of existential dread stuff, then by all means, check out Exarbia. These are just really, really fun videos, and he does some animations and lots of jokes. They're way funnier than I am. And if you like the more, again, I'm going back to the word existential, but existential, esoteric, kind of big picture type stuff that I talk about, this is up your alley because it's a lot of fun. I think I'm looking at the video stream. By the way, I did not even comb my hair today. That's where I am in my life. How about you? I'm looking at the video stream and it looks pretty jumpy. Are you guys? Is it really jumpy to you guys, or is it just coming through from me like that? I'm gonna pause for a second. Oh, there it is. So White Horse September says, anybody else sees the videos choppy? Yeah, it's very choppy. It's very choppy. Tell you what, give me just 1 second. I'm gonna check my streaming right now and see if there's. It says the stream status is good. Guys, it's time for a new computer. I think that's what it comes down to. It's time for me to get a new computer, which I can afford to do. When you're like when you're in the flow of putting out 2 videos a week and you're just like constantly trying to get the next video out, it's really hard to like get a new computer. And it's not just about getting a new computer, it's redoing this entire setup. This whole thing has to be redone. It's an ordeal, and it's always just like something I can just kind of keep putting off. Yeah, it says encoding overloaded. It's telling me encoding overloaded. All right, hang on. Give me a second, guys. Huh. Yeah. Well, what did I say? There's always a technical issue with my live streams. It never fails. Maybe once I get done with this, I can close out these tabs and it'll kind of slow down a little bit. I actually closed out a lot of stuff before I jumped in here. Good Lord. Okay. But that's definitely a problem I need to fix because when I do when I do my actual videos, I record them through this camera, obviously. And I know some of you noticed because people have said something about it. There's lag sometimes in that video too. If it's on a live stream, it's whatever. I don't really do very many live streams, but if it's on my videos, that's a problem. So anyway, I'm working on that. But that was all the channels I wanted to get through. Those are channels that I definitely recommend you guys go check out if you haven't. If I like them, I think you'll like them. So there you go. The next thing I was going to do, I thought would be kind of fun, would be to just kind of like take a look at the top 10. It's probably going to be more like 12. Yeah, it's more like 12. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Of the top videos on the channel of all time. And I think you all already know which one is the top one. But so basically, I basically just went onto my YouTube page here and I ordered them from the bottom to the top. So the first one at the top is the most popular, going down from there. I don't need to explain that. You can get it. 1, 2, 3, boom. So no surprise that the severed head video is, to this day, the most popular video on this channel. It's got 3.4 million views. By the way, there was a thing, what is it called? It's not the 80-20 rule, but it's sort of like that. The idea that whenever you have statistical things, the top thing is always like way above all the rest. And that's the case here. I mean, that is more than twice as much as the next one below it, the inbreeding one. And by the way, first 3 are all Random Thursday videos. And out of the top 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 12 are Random Thursday videos. Don't you think that's crazy? That's funny. Like, everybody talks about you want to stick to a brand and you don't want to deviate from that, but here's, you know, some of the top ones are the random ones. Anyway, YouTube loves my fusion videos for some reason. They all do really well. And here's thorium reactors, which is sort of like an nuclear energy kind of thing. It's just interesting, isn't it? And some of these are kind of old. The severed head one's kind of old. That one's kind of old. Actually, a lot of them are kind of old. What's the newest one that's on this top 12? This is what I do in my spare time. I don't know about you guys. Well, the newest one is the cosmonaut one. That's interesting. Huh. Let's look at that. No, it's 4 months ago, which means my channel's on a downhill slide. I'm just kidding. Actually, true story, last month, June, was the highest number of views per month in the channel's history. And what's exciting about that to me is I didn't have any video go like viral or anything like that. That severed head one went super viral, like YouTube was sharing it to everybody, for a couple of years there, or for a couple of times last year. And so, of course, those videos where it did really well, those got a whole lot of views. Those months where that was spiking, they did really well and got a lot of views. But this last month, there wasn't really anything that blew up. There wasn't anything that just kind of went off the charts. It was just, that was the number of views the channel got, and it performed pretty well. So that's exciting to me. That means that you know, you have the spikes and everything, but the general trend is going up, and that's cool. So yeah. What was I going to talk about next? I have to write things down, or I just don't remember anything. Tell you what, how about I jump into the chats for just a second? I've seen a lot of super chats you guys have sent. Hang on, let me pull this up. You don't know what this is. You don't know what I'm talking about. You're just like, dude, all I know is you're like looking down at a thing. Like, what? Come on, what? Oh man, I gotta catch up to a lot of these. There's also some channels, by the way, that I didn't really mention today, but they've been friends of mine for a really long time. Tom Mills, in his Green Shorts channel. We've been friends for like 3 years now. We hang out and chat on almost a weekly. It would be a weekly basis if I wasn't so busy and could show up more often. I missed last night, but I think I saw Tom out there somewhere, dude. I love you, man. You're my boo. And he and Greg from Skyscraper Guitars, they deserve your love as well, and they're doing great stuff. But I thought really quickly, and I'm gonna do this, and then I can jump into some questions and just kind of answer, and then we'll just be kind of hanging out. That's all it's gonna be after that. But I wanted to talk just a little bit, sort of off the cuff, about the future of the channel and where I want to see things go from here. And a lot of this, for those of you who follow me for a long time, have probably heard me say this before. This is sort of a goal I've been working toward for a while, but I've just recently started bringing people onto my team. I've got a growing team. I have Nick, who is editing my videos. I really should take a minute and thank these guys who have made things so much easier for me and made really my ability to do 2 videos a week and continue putting out content for you guys at the level that you want, quality-wise and quantity-wise. I can only do it because there are some really great, talented people that are helping me out. And it's small, but it's growing. So there's Nick. He's my editor, Nick Turnbow. We have this set up, man. It kind of took a while to get sort of on the same wavelength because there's so many intricacies, and I've been doing the editing for so long myself, and all these little stylistic things that you just kind of have to learn. But man, he's in there now, and I shoot the video and it goes over to him, and we don't even have to like text each other. He knows exactly what I'm looking for. He knows exactly what to do. He adds his own jokes into the mix. Every once in a while in a video, you'll see an image pop up that's just funny, or a little text thing, and that's 100% Nick. He's contributing to the whole thing as well, and I couldn't be happier about that. He's made this whole thing a lot easier, and he's increasing the quality. So thank you, Nick, for that. There's Ryan Twombly, who I don't remember exactly how we got connected, but I want to say he reached out to me because I said something about wanting to bring on some writers or something. And now he does like 2 videos a month right now, and maybe pretty soon we can bump that up a little bit depending on if he has the time. He's actually like a ghostwriter for like famous people. He's actually written books under other people's names. Like that's just kind of how that works. But he's a really talented guy, dynamite researcher. His videos actually tend to do pretty well because he just gets so like into the research of it, and he gets so many just details and facts in there that I can then later sort of translate into my own voice, and his videos do really well, I think, because they're very dense with information, and I'm just kind of like struggling to throw a joke in there every once in a while. But Ryan is awesome. I want to thank Ryan. There's also Jeff. He's sort of like my virtual assistant. He handles a lot of just like the posting on the website and responding to emails for Canker Boy and stuff like that. That's my side business. But he's been with me for a long time, and he just kind of handles a lot of stuff so I don't have to, and I appreciate that. So cheers to Jeff as well. So if you guys would mind giving a little love in the chat or the comments or whatever to Nick and Ryan and Jeff, and I plan on bringing some more people on, and all that leads to where everything is going. So I want to keep up the 2 videos a week thing for a while, and I do want to say, when I was in California at that barbecue with all these other like huge YouTubers, and they would ask like how often I post, and I said 2 a week, and they're like, "You post 2 a week?" They were just blown away that I was posting that much. And some of these guys, by the way, have like 1.5, 2 million or above subscribers. And one fact about being in that world is you don't have to post that much. Like when you have that many subscribers, you can just kind of post whenever you want and make enough to live off of, you know. And I can't wait to get there. No. The point is, I still consider this channel to be in a growth mode. And what I really want to do is kind of grow this team and basically build a machine around this channel so that these types of videos can continue to go out at least on a weekly basis. I mean, it might go down to only once a week at some point, but I want to keep up at least that weekly schedule, but I want to free myself up enough that I can focus on bigger things, bigger projects outside of here. Things like writing a book. I've been thinking about writing a book for a while. I've had some people ask about it before. If you're interested, talk about it down there, and you guys let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I still have ambitions for doing some filmmaking and doing some shorts. I know you guys like the sketches that I do, and I love doing them. It's kind of hard to squeeze those in when I'm always running behind on things. But again, that's sort of having that sort of group around me might free me up a little bit so that I can do some more of those. And that's what I'm working toward. And I hope over the next year I can get to where probably once a quarter I could release a short film of some kind. At least once a month I could have some kind of sketch at the beginning of the videos. It might actually get to where I have a team sort of handling the majority of the videos and I only do 1 or 2 a month, and I can just kind of focus on those and make those big, productions. And maybe that means they're running a little bit longer. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just feeling it out as I go. But over the long term, if I'm looking 2 or 3 years down the road and into the 1 million, 2 million, subscriber level, I really would like to work on bigger things and work on series of things. And maybe that's something that could translate over to like a Netflix series or a Hulu series or something like that. I do have my eyes on that. But there's a part of me that wants to do bigger, more creative, more out of the box kinds of things. And it can be a little frustrating for me sometimes when I'm doing all my videos and I'm just sitting right here. Every single video is just me kind of doing like a little science stand-up kind of thing. I think that's working. I think you guys will like it, but I don't see that really going anywhere. But I want to experiment with that, and I want to play, and I want to get bigger, and I want to do more creative and fun things. So, love to hear your thoughts on that. I hope that's kind of what you guys are looking for and want to see go that way. And while I'm talking about this, there's I get a lot of people who want to support the channel in some way, but they don't really want to do it on Patreon for various reasons. There is a membership thing on YouTube. It's $5 a month. If you look down at the bottom below the video, it says join. You click on that and it's $5 a month, and you get access to those live streams that I was talking about at the beginning of this. Those are Patreon live streams. They're also member live streams. And if/when I ever have extra footage, outtakes, that kind of stuff, you get to see those as well. Something else I was looking at doing, kind of talking about the future of the channel, and this was something that I was really talking to a lot of people about at VidCon this year. It's doing live shows, possibly. I've been really terrible at meetups, about setting up meetups, either here where I live in Dallas or when I travel out of town. I really want to do more meetups, and they could be, what I was thinking was like eventually doing some kind of live show that might be sort of like stand-up, or it might be sort of a stand-up / PowerPoint. I mean, it would be comedy. It would be comedy. I mean, it's not just me up there like, I'm going to thing the chart and you got the quantum flux. No, it's not going to be that. It would be a fun comedy event night kind of thing. And if you guys were interested in that kind of thing, if the channel got to that size where I could justify doing that in various places, maybe there could be like a behind get backstage kind of VIP thing for Patreon and membership people. I don't know. But that's something I'm looking at. That might be a next year thing before I could even start thinking about it. But I'm just looking at different ways to sort of expand what's going on here and do it in different ways and in various places. And yeah, I will meet you guys where you are. That's the idea anyway. So I think that was me breathlessly getting through everything that I want to see in the future on this channel. Anyway, I hope that's something that you guys are on board with, and let me know in all my places. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. So, I am looking at a page that has all of the super chats that you guys have shared, and oh my God, you people are way too generous. I don't know how I can thank everybody. Oh my God. Sorry. This is one of those things where I'm going to go away and feel really guilty because I don't have time to really go in and thank everyone because there's just so many of you. Wow, I don't even know what to say about this. Thank you guys. But I want to make sure that I answer any questions that are in here, so just give me a second. Sam Zero is asking for a chair spin, so here you go. Okay. Dance, monkey, dance! Okay. Elmont just says, shut up and take my money. Jace Curtis says, to 1 million followers, thank you. Notice me, Daddy Senpai, just noticed. Let me look for any questions here. Very nice comments. I appreciate all of them. Rob says, thanks for everything. Thank you, Rob. Green shorts? Okay, so this was Tom, who I was talking about earlier. Congrats on 500K, Joe. I remember when you had 700. Yeah. Fun to follow you through this journey. You've earned it. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Tom. You my boo. Jameson Hurley, congrats from Denton, Texas, my old stomping grounds. I went to college there. Seattle Dude, 1 free super chat from Premium. Thank you for that. Oh, you guys are giving me... Oh, God. I'm seeing all these things now that say new computer fund. Thank you. I can afford the computer. I just need to go get it. I'm just being lazy. Don't reward my laziness, please. But thank you very much. Homebrew Buzz, my 12-year-old son is an aspiring physicist. We both enjoy watching your channel and spend hours discussing and researching the topics that you touch on. Thanks for the inspiration and the bonding fuel. Keep up the good work. You know what? Thank you. That's very nice. And I just wanted to just kind of add to that. Hang on. So when is Brian Wecht coming on a video? I don't know who that is. And somebody posted a couple of bucks with the thing on Meow Wolf. I've been to Meow Wolf. Meow Wolf in Santa Fe. It's really cool. I don't know how you know that. And Jackie Richards, congratulations on your 500K. Feels like just yesterday I was watching your 100K stream. It's been awesome to watch the channel grow and get better. Thank you, Jackie, very much. But no, just really quick. So Homebrew Buzz has talked about his 12-year-old son and that they watched the channel together. Sorry, hang on. That is amazing to me. That I have gotten several. I've gotten several comments, emails, people reaching out who say that they watch this channel with their kids, and actually, so true story. The whole spinning around in my chair thing. I don't remember why. No, I can tell you why. I can tell you why I started. I didn't want to start the videos with my face. I didn't want people to just open up the video and there's my face, right? I wanted to like enter it in some way. And I didn't know how to do it. There were some early ones where I like slid into the shot or something. Problem with that is you have to like land in just the right spot every time, and it's kind of hard. I'd have to redo it several times. And at one point I thought, you know what, I could just spin around in my chair. Why not? So I started doing that. And then somebody commented and said that his daughter watches the channel with him and calls me the spinning man. And I was like, well, I got to keep doing it now. I mean, some cute 4-year-old girl is like calling me the spinning man. I can't let her down. So I've spun ever since. And it just kind of became a thing. And that's just kind of how these things happen. It became a meme, I guess. But I love hearing that. I love hearing that people watch this show with their kids. And while I'm not setting out to do a kids show, I mean, it's definitely, I've definitely got a naughty side. I definitely, you know, if I was up doing stand-up in a room full of adults, there would be some language. And people know me personally, stuff slips out. But I've always tried to keep it down on the channel for a multitude of reasons. I mean, there's the AdSense reason. I mean, you know, I would get demonetized if I did it too much. And I'm not that beholden to curse words, honestly. I can let go of the curse words if it means I can, you know, have a stable income. But it's also the fact that I know some kids are watching and some people like to watch it with their kids. And frankly, I think I think bleeped curse words are just funnier. I just think it's funnier to bleep a curse word. So there's several different reasons, and plus I know my mom watches, and you know, I have parents, but I love hearing that. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going off track here, but I love hearing that people watch with their kids and that this is some kind of bonding thing. That really warms my heart. Not just because kids are learning stuff and the parents are sharing things with their kids, but the idea that I could be doing something that helps people kind of bond, and bringing people together is something that I think is kind of like the best thing you can do. I've said it before. I think in the end, we're judged on whether or not we divided people or united people, and I would rather be the latter. That's just me. So thank you for that, man. Let me jump back into here. I've been seeing some others come through. Jonathan Jenkins just wanted to say thanks for making videos. I appreciate that, Jonathan. Where are we? Hit up Real Good Touring for live shows. They're doing Michael Reeves in the Osmonds live show. Okay, that's from Mr. Brentilli. I guess they're a group that manages live shows or something. That'd be cool. Brock the Rock asked how he could advertise with me. So all my advertising now is done through that group that I was talking about earlier, Standard Broadcast. It's a funny thing running a YouTube channel. You get to a point where people start reaching out and asking if they can advertise with you. When you get to a certain size and start getting a certain number of views, and at first it's just like this, wow, I'm being recognized, and then it's something you kind of get used to, and then it becomes something that I'm not joking. I get 2 or 3 emails a day at this point, and I can't even look at them anymore. But it is all handled through my my group at Standard. And if you really are interested and you want to find out more and you're serious about it, you can go to the About page on my channel. There is an email address down there, and it goes to my business people, and they'll set that up. So that's how that would work. Look at my profile for the early Ariane 7 design. Looks potentially usable. Okay. Kyle Goddard. We've talked before. I think we did a podcast before, unless I'm thinking of somebody else. Can I upgrade the tangent cam, he asks. Yeah, that's actually something I've been thinking about. I did upgrade it, honestly. The other one is over there. I'm not going to go grab it. But this was the original tangent cam, a GoPro Hero 3. And I did upgrade it to a GoPro Hero 7. And it's on a little... Is it worth it to turn that around? No, it's not. It's literally on a clamp that's over here on the side. And that's why I always use GoPros, because they're really light. But I have been thinking, actually, lately about getting another one of the cameras that I've got right here, which is a Sony A6000, or Alpha 6000. I think it's A6000. I wanted to get a second one of those for potentially doing the sketches and things outside of right here, so that I could... Right now I've got to take this thing off the tripod and unhook it, and it's a whole thing. I would rather have a second one that I could go shoot that stuff with and leave this one up there. And then maybe I could use that second one as a tangent cam over here, and it would be the same quality as this one. I know the quality is different when I switch over to tangent cam, and I know that really bothers some people. I always kind of liked it, to be honest, because it's kind of supposed to look like a security camera in a way. Like, it sort of has that aesthetic. It's like just this random tangent camera over here. That's how I always saw it, so it never really bothered me. But getting a second one of these cameras was something that I was looking at doing, so I just closed a window, and I think my thing just went bonkers, didn't it? Okay. Clearly, I need to get a new computer first, and then think about the camera. But anyway, that is something I'm looking at. So anyway, so Greg E says, love the channel. Please start doing your own animations. That is, yes. That's something I'm working on. That's part of like the team, is kind of bringing on a graphics person, or start, kind of hiring a graphics person. I definitely see in the next 3 to 6 months doing a thing where, like I said, there's sort of a machine putting these videos out for the most part, but I focus specifically on 1 or 2. And those one or two might be bigger projects that have, graphics in them that have been done ahead of time. It's just all about creating a little bit of wiggle room so that I can work on those bigger things. And it's just been a slow process. And everything is slow when you're just like constantly. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get there. Corey Lewis, good Lord, man. What is wrong with you? Why would you give that much money to somebody you've never met? He contributed $99.99. Thank you, Corey. And he says that was from everyone who can't contribute. I like your style. It's very nice. Everybody thank Corey for being awesome and for contributing for you. So Dad would like to know if I learned more of the golden ratio. I had never really done a video on that, have I? It might be a random Thursday video. Could happen. Tell you what, I will do the thing that I always do when I'm doing my Patreon membership live streams, and then I'm just going to write that down. I do actually listen to you guys. I know I don't act like it. Leah Grant. I've seen that name in places. Where have I seen that name in places? Anyway, would you consider doing a video about psychopaths and or people without feelings? Don't be obligated to answer. Just maybe put it on the video idea list. You're reading my mind, Leah. That actually brings up a good question. I really like talking about psychological stuff, psychology, mindfulness, self-actualization, self-mastery, that kind of stuff. I went through a period, I don't know, for about 4 or 5 years where I was like really into a lot of that, doing a lot of meditation. I still am into it. I haven't been functionally doing it as much as I should, but I do like talking about it a lot. And so if that's the kind of thing you guys would like to see more of, that I am totally down for that. I will say that the ones that I've done in the past just don't really perform that well, and that's why I haven't done more of them. That's a general thing on YouTube, by the way. If you do a video and it does well, to me that just means that that's something people like, and so I'm just going to do more of it, There's obviously just the straight up business growth aspect of it, but there's also the give the people what they want kind of aspect of it. And when those things, when what the people want collides with stuff that I actually really enjoy talking about, that's a good place. That's a good place. There have been some things that maybe have done pretty well, but it's just not really something I want my channel to be all about. So I've kind of, just kind of left it there. But like I said, fusion stuff does so well on here, and obviously the EV stuff. So I'm always going to kind of go back to that well for a multitude of reasons. But the number one, honestly, all money and everything else aside, is just that if it's something you guys want to see, of course I'll be interested in that. And if it's something that I'm personally interested in, again, that's a good place. So you'll be seeing more of that. But yeah, let me jump in here. So let me see. Psych substance, dissociative disorder, meditation, ACT therapy. So you guys are talking about all that. Golden ratio, self-actualize yourself in Area 52. Oh God, I'm so ready for that to be over. People are shouting out people like Fraser Kane, Launchpad Astronomy. Yep. Parallax Nick, Isaac Arthur, Jeremy B was shouting those out. Good call on those. Okay, well, it's looking like you guys are into that kind of thing. So yeah, I wrote down psychopaths. You're going to be seeing some very interesting people on here. Okay. Oh boy. Nicole Watamaniak. Watamaniak. That sounds New Zealandish. New Zealander. Yeah. It says, I horribly mispronounce your name on Patreon, but you can forgive me. I appreciate that. That's kind of the thing, though. I mean, it does say even on the Patreon thing, I mispronounce your name or I say your name horribly in a video. So I just did what I said I was going to do. I just did what I said I was going to do. Mr. Brinley is following up. Brian Wecht is in the band NSP and also has a PhD in astrophysics and string theory. Is he I guess he's a YouTuber? Oh, hang on. Actually, I've never heard of this guy. Yeah, okay. Jason Snow just says, congrats, man, with a couple of bucks. Thank you. Thank you, Dad. Dad asses cash. I saw the T in the vid, and I love there. Says traditional stone carving with Andre. I think he might have misspelled something. All right, so hey, here's a question. Jamie Smith, if you could build a vacation home on any hunk of rock in the solar system, where would you build it? Would you invite friends? Love your show. Best way to wake up in the morning. Thank you. That was from Jamie Smith. First of all, yes, I would absolutely invite my friends, because being stranded on a planet all by myself sounds miserable, even if it's beautiful. And it's funny, like that. There's so many different little tangents of that question. This is, I curse you. So the honest answer, and I know this is lame, but the honest answer would be somewhere here on Earth, because there's no place else in the solar system that you could live comfortably. Everywhere else, I mean, if the question was like, if you could live comfortably on any other planet, if you had that sort of supernatural ability or something like that, where would you live, or where would you go and visit? That's an interesting question. But if you're just talking about like, where would you go and live, it would obviously be Earth, because it's the only place you can, breathe. Fairly important. I love that Titan is so close to us in terms of air pressure, and I know it's got weaker gravity and everything, but Titan's like the only place in the solar system that really has like the air pressure that we would comfortably be able to live on. Like, you would just need to be warm. Of course, you would need like serious warmth to be there, because it's like negative many hundreds of degrees, liquid methane on the surface. It's just insane. Liquid methane is what they use in the Raptor engines, and they have to cool it with pumps and helium and all kinds of stuff to get it down that cold. And here on Titan, it's just lakes of it on the ground, because it's just that cold. But the air pressure is pretty close, not exactly, but close to what we have here. And I love the idea of going there and seeing Saturn up in the sky right in front of you like that. Like, that would be amazeballs. Of course, 5 seconds later, you would freeze to death, but it would be an awesome last 5 seconds of your life. But if I could build a vacation home on any hunk of rock in the solar system, it would definitely be on Earth. And where would I build it? Gotta be honest, I got married on the Amalfi Coast of Italy, and I've seen very few places in this world that are less beautiful than that. And I still would like to go back. I just went to Santorini with my wife last month, and that was beautiful and amazing. And I definitely want to go back there. So that's right up there. But I think Positano. I think that's where I would go if I could. Been wanting to do a little bit more of that. Lord Flacco69, aloha, my dude, 2 buckaroos for some chillin' coconuts. All right. Dad has all the info on the golden ratio. Ask Dad if you need help. Okay. Wink back at you. Here's another for an error. I'm from New Mexico. Haha, says traditional stone carving. I'm curious what your channel's about. Traditional stone carving. Is this like primitive technology? That's an amazing channel, by the way. All right, Dylan Fwetz, looking forward to OLF nerding out on Neuralink. We did talk about that today. It's not out yet. It probably won't be out until the morning. I think it's usually Friday mornings when we put it out. But we did record. And I'm going to be talking about it soon, too. Not trying to spill the beans too hard, but it's on the way. It's on the way. There's still 1,200 people watching. You guys don't have much to do you? Wow. No, I appreciate you all being here, though. Seriously, this is really cool. I really didn't know what to expect because it's been so long since I've done a live stream for the whole channel, you know. The Patreon ones, there's usually a couple dozen. I think 40-something was maybe the biggest that we got on there. Kind of surprised there aren't more that show up for that, but that's okay. But this is fun. Sorry, I'm drinking wine and I'm burping into the microphone. It's disgusting. Sorry. Let me see. Let me jump right into the live chat and see what's going on in the live chat. By the way, this has been going on an hour or so, and I don't know how long we're going to do this. I'm not in any hurry, really, even though I'm totally behind on Monday's video, and I have to get it to the sponsor by the end of the day tomorrow. I'm already running late on it, and I haven't finished writing it. This is the last thing I should be doing. I need to drink more. Yeah, okay. Whoops, you have a delay there. I definitely have many delays. Man, these things are just flying through. Is Joe's wife Zoe? No. Zoe's not here. Zoe's in the other room, and I have the door closed. Jake's here, though. Anybody want to see Jake? Hey, Jake. He's just laying there like, what? If you want to see Jake, shout out. Put some little dog emojis in the live chat if you want to see Jake. Zake. That's Zoe and Jake put together. What are the books? Somebody just asked, what are the books? I could talk about that real quick. Atlas Obscura on the far right. Yeah, right. Really cool book, just with cool. It's like an encyclopedia of just cool, out of the way, weird places. I love just kind of thumbing through it and finding something nearby and just going there. There's always like cool, fun surprises and stuff. Artemis by Andy Weir, who I found out kind of watches this channel, kind of blew me away. one of the craziest days of my life. He tweeted at me, it blew my mind. What If by Randall Munroe. He's the guy who does XKCD. Is that it? XCKD. Oh, crap. Anyway, it's an amazing book. It asks all these like what if questions, like what if you filled the Grand Canyon with cows, what would happen? I mean, it's crazy stuff like that. And then he breaks it down through the physics of it all and everything. I'm seeing lots of dogs popping up here. All right, give me a minute. Anyway, he's the comic guy. It's gonna drive me nuts. Yeah, XKCD. I just knew I was gonna screw that up. It's a fantastic book. A lot of fun. I've gotten lots of ideas out of it. Blink from Malcolm Gladwell. Anything Malcolm Gladwell is amazing. Practical Applications for Multiverse Theory, which is a book written by some people I know and I did some stand-up improv comedy with. I've got Amy Poehler's book up there because it was given to me. I actually haven't read it, but I'm like the world's biggest Parks and Rec fan, so showing some love. Creativity Inc., which I also need to read. Missing 411 was given to me by a guy named Mario, I believe. In 2016, when I was in New York for the Next Up thing for YouTube, I had a very, very small meetup, and he showed up, and Maeve Linsky showed up, and I hung out with both of them, and he brought me that book. And that's actually, there's a whole like movie about that and everything now, so I just saw that recently. Unstoppable by Bill Nye, Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Body. I've read almost everything he's done. I got really into Tim Ferriss for a while. I'm still a fan. And there's one called The Crossroads of Should and Now, which is kind of like an inspirational book about finding your creative voice and that kind of thing. By the way, there's not any real rhyme or reason. There's not I'm not making a statement with any of these books. They just kind of wound up back there at some point. It's really shocking how little thought I've put into what's going on behind me. Not really true, though. All this stuff right here, those are all Patreon supporters, and I actually need to redo all this. I've been meaning to do it since the beginning of the year. That was something that was supposed to be done by the end of this month. Yet one more thing I'm falling behind on. But anyway, let's jump into these live chats or super chats again. You guys thank you guys so much. By the way, I'm just blown away here for all these. Okay, so Nicole's saying I got it right on the third try. Am I a wizard? I mean, I am a wizard, but that's not why I got that. You've earned my first and only donation, says Solid Snake 8608. Well, thank you, sir. I'm assuming, sir. Perhaps do a video on the loudest intentionally created sounds, asks DJ Pickle 68. Love it. The loudest intentionally created sounds. All right, you're on. I mean, it won't be anytime soon. I've got a backlog, but there you go. Weiriston asks, can't remember if it was me or Tim Dodd that recommended Turo to rent a Tesla. I did. Now I'm buying one. Oh, that's cool. I've never used Turo, so that must have been Tim. Although Ben talks about it sometimes too, but I know Tim rented from Turo when he went to California for something. I can't keep up with what Tim's doing, man. He is all over the place. I don't know how he... it's just nuts. Like all the places that you hear about him going, he's actually going more places than that. I mean, he's all over the place, and good for him. Maybe someday I'll have a life too. But I know what you're saying, man. I've had many people who have used my Tesla referral code that gave me a similar story. It was like they took a test drive, or they had a friend that had one, or they just rented one and they drove it and they were like, oh my God, I got to get this. It's so funny. I still get people asking all the time. They're like, how do you like your Tesla? And I'm just like, I like it. I mean, I do like it more the longer I've had it. And it's kind of hard to not be an evangelist for something like that. And I know I talk about it probably too much, and there's some friends of mine that are like, shut up. But I do. I enjoy it more now than I did the day I got it. I just do. And I still find myself driving and just kind of feeling like a... yeah. Is that the Tesla laugh? It's a goofy laugh, whatever it is. But congratulations. Well, he says you're buying one. Maybe you haven't gotten it yet. This is not the most fun process, by the way. I'm just setting up your expectations here. It's going to be very frustrating for a while. Unless they've figured some things out, with hopefully they have. Mrs. T Images Phoenix, I guess. Love your channel. Thanks for the quality content. Thank you for saying that. Rodolfo Flaborea, would you do a video on the implications, social, technological, of Neuralink, brain interfaces technologies? Okay, I will. How about a theory of unlimited petrol from Michael Antonio? Haven't heard of that one. Unlimited petrol. I don't know. Are you talking about like carbon capture out of the air and turning that into gas and jet fuel and stuff like that? I've not heard about that. Skeptical. That's the skeptical face. Gustavo says, keep up the good work. Cheers from Mexico. Thanks, Gustavo. That's really cool. I actually like Mexico. I've only been there a couple of times, but I really liked it when I went. You would think I would be there more because I'm right here on the border, although I'm not really right here on the border. I'm hundreds of miles away because Texas is gigantic. Resources. Okay, so this is the Martorius. The Martorius. So sorry. This is what my wife puts up every day. Vid idea, resources and libraries set up for dystopia. Kind of like the Svalbard Global Seed Bank. I've done a video on that. You know what? Okay. The book's too far away. I'm not going to go get it. But I've been reading a book lately about the Bronze Age collapse. And I've become a little slightly obsessed with that topic. And the idea of civilization, of course I'm into this. The idea of civilization collapses and just the way time kind of just erases everything. It's the Bronze Age collapse around the year 1200 BC. Some people put it right at 1177 BC. is just utterly fascinating. And I'm reading this book about it. The most difficult thing about the book is that it uses a bunch of names and places from like Egypt and Syria and like these old places, the Mycenaeans, the Phoenicians, the Hittites, all those guys. And a lot of those names are just like, and maybe they're still in use today in certain parts of the world. So I don't mean to be offensive to anybody who might happen to live over there, but my name is Joe, for crying out loud, you know? So, so reading all these names that are like 20 syllables long, and it's just like, my brain just kind of skips right over them. I'm reading and I see a name and I just skip right past it. And then later I'm like, wait, what was that? But it's a fascinating book, and it's the idea that, and I'm not trying to get into ancient aliens or anything here, but like back in the day in the Bronze Age, again, around like, let's say 13 to 1400 BC to 1150-ish BC, were some of the most developed civilizations in our history. Again, going into the Mycenaeans, the Cypriots on Cyprus, the Egyptians, the Hittites, the Assyrians, Babylonians. There was this whole collection of civilizations in that part of the world that all traded together. They all knew each other. It was the Bronze Age because things were made out of bronze, obviously. Bronze is an alloy of copper and tin, and there was only one tin supply in the entire region, and that was in the Hittite region, so they were always at war with people. But they also, you know, did the intermarriage because, you know, like they did in the Middle Ages of England in Europe, to have alliances and stuff like that. Long story short, this was one of the most prosperous and advanced for its time civilizations or periods of civilization in human history, and it went on for hundreds of years, and literally in one human lifetime, in a matter of decades, a couple of decades, it all collapsed. Like all 6 or 7 of these civilizations and nation states just fell apart and collapsed and were lost to history, and all these huge cities that were the centers of commerce and society and everything, they were buried underground, demolished, never heard from again until like just in the last couple hundred years they've been excavated, and we've learned about all this stuff. And there's this whole thing about this group of people called the Sea Peoples that nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows who these people are, where they came from. It's thought that there were massive droughts brought on by some kind of climate change that displaced a lot of these people, and they kind of like rushed into these other parts of the world. They came from somewhere that these civilizations didn't know about, and they kind of swept in and just burned cities to the ground and then disappeared from history. It's just fascinating. It's fascinating. Anyway, I have now dedicated how much of this live stream talking about this book. It's amazing. But the reason I went there was you were asking in that question about resources in the library set up for dystopia. You can't read about that and think about that without considering what's going on right now and what could happen in the future. Like, what if everything that we have right now just goes away? Like, how do you prepare for that? How do you communicate with future generations that may speak different languages and may have completely different worldviews and understandings of language and everything? That's kind of what gets interesting about like the 10,000-year clock. I love that topic. And I brought that up to the polyphonics guy actually at VidCon. I was like, he was talking about just experimental music, and one of the cool things about the 10,000-year clock is that the clock of the long now is from the Long Now Foundation. And I'll talk about it in the video, but they one of the people involved is Brian Eno, who's a songwriter and a musician, and he basically created, as a way to wind this clock, a way to reward people for winding the clock. So if people come to visit and see this thing, they can go wind a thing, and when they do so, it'll play a song for them. And it's based off of like an algorithm so that every person that winds the clock hears a different song. So for 10,000 years, it will never play the same song twice. And I thought that was really interesting. I brought that up to him. And then he was like, wow, you're really cool. And I'm like, totally. Joseph Davis posted a bunch of dog emojis. I forgot to get Jacob here. Let me see. Hang on. Let me move this over here. How we doing? We having fun? Are you guys having fun? Is this fun? You doing good? I have so little faith in my live streaming abilities. Jake, you want to come say hi to everybody? Want to say hi to the peoples? You might not even be able to get up high enough here. Come here, buddy. Come here. I want you guys to know you're making a 12-year-old dog with bad knees get up just for you. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm not guilting you or anything, but feel guilty. Come here. Come here, buddy. I know you're so old and you're so wrinkly. Can you jump up? Jump up. Oh. I know. Come say hi to everybody. Jump up. I know. Get on up here. Get on up here. There you go. Can y'all see him? There he is. How you doing, buddy? I know you were sleeping and I woke you up. You're a good boy. Ooh, so, can it reach? A couple of the people I hung out with at VidCon were Cale McCann and Ken. Oh, what is his last name? Steep? Is that it? Steep? Yeah, yeah. But they run McCann Dogs. They're a dog training. They're a dog training company, but they also have a YouTube channel, which is great. And I was talking to them about what to do with this guy because he barks his head off whenever people come over and visit, which I kind of want him to do at first, but then I want him to shut up so that people aren't scared to come in because a big giant pit bull is... I moved that in front of him. That was the wrong move. Anyway, they wanted to see you, and I'm letting them see you. And now you're like, hey, where's my treat for doing this? Okay. Okay, you can lay down. I'm sorry. There you go. You wrinkly dog. Oh, back at you. Okay. All right, you can lay down. You can lay down. There's my Jake. We got Jake when we first moved into this house because we just wanted to have a big dog around. We have a backyard and wanted to have some dog running around out there. Oh, he's going for his toy now. We got him, he's really bad about destroying any toy we give him, like, immediately. Uh-oh. And we got him this teddy bear, and he's, like, actually playing with it. It's like his little wubby. It's kind of cute. He's never done that before. It's always like, destroy immediately. You got your toy? You got your toy, dude? That's the look I get. Okay. Dog time over. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I asked if you guys were having fun. I am having fun, by the way. I'm enjoying this. So I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, although I do have plenty of work to do tonight. Mark Boyce, or Boyce? I'm going to go with Boyce. Congrats on 500K. Thank you very much. By the way, I work on lots of Teslas. Okay. Choose a good company if you ever need your windshield on your Model 3. I'm on Patreon if you have questions. Super chat is cheaper in Mexican pesos. That's cool. Well, cool. Thank you for that. You'll have to like shout out at me in Patreon or something. The problem is that like everybody has different names on YouTube and in Patreon and in Discord and in the different places, and it gets really confusing for me. I'm bad with names anyway, but now I have to remember like 3 different names for everybody. I might find a look into Graham Hancock Industry. Okay. I know that name. How do I know that name? How do I know that name? No, hang on. You asked me. I'm going to look it up. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, pseudoscientific theories involving ancient civilizations, earth changes. Okay. Magicians of the Gods. Yeah. Okay. I've heard of this guy. Yeah. Um, I can't say I know too much about his work or what he talks about, but I'm open minded. I'll take a look. I don't like the ancient alien stuff. I actually posted a meme somewhere on Twitter or something that was like, it's a meme, so I can't explain it without making any sense. But just this idea that, like, the ancient cultures did all these amazing things back in the day, and then everybody says, "Oh, it was aliens. They couldn't have been smart enough." And the ancient Egyptians are like, "Hey, we're smart enough." Anyway, I think humans are more ingenious than we give ourselves credit for, and even back then we were able to do amazing things. Even if we can't figure out now how we did it back then, doesn't mean that we weren't smart enough to do it back then. That's just my opinion. I'm just saying. Play the Mind asked, is the future Star Wars or Star Trek? I mean, it is the Fermi paradox versus Alcubierre drive, right? I like that framing. Is it Star Wars or Star Trek? I was watching something on a plane. Actually, I think it was the James Cameron Story of Sci-Fi series, but they were talking about how one of the things that really separated Star Wars at the time, and of course this was back in the 1970s, we've seen a lot of this since then, but before Star Wars, a lot of sci-fi films were very clean. They were very utopian. Like if you look at 2001, Stanley Kubrick is a genius, obviously, but everything was very clean and sterile, and that's what everybody always imagined the future as. And then Star Wars came along, and of course Star Wars is not the future. It's a galaxy far, far away, long, long ago. So it is actually more of a past kind of thing, if we're being honest about it. But Star Wars sci-fi vision was very dirty. It was grimy. It was dusty. It was on a desert planet. It was Jawas, and it was rusty, big machines and stuff. And that was the first time that sci-fi had really been shown that way. That was the argument that this show was making. I'm sure there are examples otherwise, and I'm sure you guys are yelling it at me right now. But I do like that framing, though. Is it Star Wars or Star Trek? Because Star Wars is kind of dystopian, and of course now that the whole world has been sort of filled out a little bit since the first movie, we find out that the world of episode 4, 5, and 6 was kind of dystopian. It was like a collapsed civilization that occurred later on, and especially actually I guess in The Force Awakens, it's even more so because the Empire fell. But spoilers. But it's funny. I really think the future is more Black Mirror. I think that's what I like about Black Mirror, is that it shows stuff that's happening now. There's an argument. There's a type of argument called reductio ad absurdum. I've talked about before. It was Nero's paradox, and it's the idea of taking an argument to its most ridiculous conclusion, basically. And that's what Black Mirror does. It kind of takes the technology that we have right now that we're all kind of living through and we're all kind of figuring our way through, and it kind of just takes it to its furthest extreme and shows what this could be at some point in the future. I think a lot of sci-fi visions of the past have been spaceships and anti-gravity and these kinds of things, and what we're finding is it's really a lot more digital and layers of digital world on top of our real world. And the fakery of information is scary to me. I don't like the idea that we're getting to a point where you can't trust anything anywhere. I feel like you kind of have to have some kind of lodestone is the word that wants to come to mind. Although that's kind of a weird word to use. You kind of need something. There has to be some bottom of the barrel of belief systems and something that we all believe in. I'm getting a little weird now, but I don't know if that answers your question. I don't think it's Star Wars or Star Trek. I think it's more Black Mirror. Traditional stone carving is drinking some wine while I drink some mead. Ooh, has anybody ever had mead? I've never had it. I feel like it would be very yeasty and mealy, and I'm not really a beer guy anyway. As you can see, I have this now. Sean Devine says he has his name on YouTube, Discord, and Patreon. You absolutely do, sir. Thank you for that. Makes my life easier. Sean and I hung out a little bit in Florida when I went to the Falcon Heavy thing. You gave me, I still got it right over there. It's right over there. You gave me the, you know what, screw it. I've been avoiding so hard getting up and going over there and getting this book, but here we are. Yeah, Sean 3D printed these grid fins. Hello. Almost had a brain fart there. Print out these little miniature grid fins. It's smaller than a Nada coaster that Tim sells, but this is really cool. I still got it, man. And this was the book I was talking about, by the way. It's Eric Klein, 1177, The Year Civilization Collapsed. I'm really enjoying it. If you are weird like me and find the collapse of civilizations just riveting, then I definitely can recommend it. Let's see. Okay, so Mark is correcting me. The Graham Hancock is not an ancient alien guy, just that humans did a lot of cool stuff long before most people think we did. Check him out. Okay, cool. Okay, good point. Fair enough. And I would agree with that. I think we did a lot of really cool stuff back in the day. That's why I always grew up fascinated by Easter Island. I would love to go to Easter Island someday. I would love to go to Easter Island. That's like a bucket list thing. But I always grew up fascinated by Easter Island, Stonehenge, the pyramids, all of that ancient stuff that we just have no idea how they did it. I love that stuff. People are ridiculous. People are smart. And I always thought it'd be great to be a billionaire. I would create like this giant monument in the middle of nowhere just to confuse people. Just so that 10,000 years from now, somebody would find it and be like, whoa, there was this civilization that lived here. I just want to troll the world, basically. Hang on one second. So Gua here is saying he read Artemis on my suggestion and didn't like it as much as The Martian. I get that. Fair enough. I think I could say I like The Martian a little bit better too. But Artemis is fun. And I know they are working on a film of it. Oh, God, who's directing it? I want to say the Lego guys, the guys who did the Lego movie are directing it. I could be wrong about that. But I look forward to it just because I really want to see an action scene set in 1/6 moon gravity. I really want to see that. I think that you could do some really cool stuff with that. And I hope that they use that to the hilt because that could be a lot of fun. I'm sorry, I'm smacking into the microphone a lot, aren't I? I hate when people do that, and then I find myself doing it. Hi from tomorrow afternoon here in Australia, says Aaron Komolati. Sorry. Hope to see you down here one day. Congratulations. Thank you. Dude, I would love to go to Australia. I've never been. Never been to Australia. Never been to New Zealand either. I know I sort of have a standing invitation from Rocket Lab to go see one of their launches. And I said something to my wife about it. I was like, we could probably go down to New Zealand sometime if you want. I would love to go there. In Australia as well. Sorry, I wasn't trying to lump y'all in together. I know those are two totally different countries, but I'm just saying. All right. Dragon King, what is your answer to the Fermi paradox? No jokes. I've actually been avoiding answering this one just because I was like, God, it's going to go down a rabbit hole. What's my answer to the Fermi paradox? The longer I've been doing this kind of thing, and the more I think about the distance, just the insane distances between stars and how rare life probably is, at least advanced life. And advanced life might just mean multicellular life. I mean, we had unicellular life on this planet for the vast majority of the time this planet was a planet. If I had a scale in front of you, I could show you, but you've all seen it. I don't need to explain this to you. You're smart people, you know. I mean, only in the last quarter of the lifetime of our planet has there even been multicellular life. So that alone. And by the way, once we had multicellular life, there was this thing called the Cambrian explosion. And another channel that I met when I was in California is a channel called Tearzoo. The guy who runs it, his name's Patch. He was awesome. I really enjoyed meeting with him and talking with him. he did his channel's called Tierzu. Please go check it out. It's amazing. But he did a video just not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, about the Cambrian explosion, and he called it the world in beta. It was the world in beta mode, and I was like, that's so good. I hate you. That's so good. That's such a good description of the Cambrian explosion. It was like life just started throwing spaghetti at a wall and was like, let's just see what sticks. And it was just the most bizarre creatures that the world has ever seen, just like popped up out of nowhere. So like right after we had multicellular life, it became this whole thing. And my point is, I smacked again, sorry. We don't know if multicellular life is a thing that is inevitable and is going to happen in a planet that has life, or if it's something that was just this incredibly rare thing that for whatever happened, or for whatever reason happened here on Earth. And there's all these rare Earth hypothesis things. I've covered that in a video about how like just the fact that we have this insanely big moon for our, proportionally to the size of our planet. That we just have this unique combination of elements, this unique position in the solar system. It's not just a Goldilocks zone thing. Technically, Venus is in the Goldilocks zone, but it's probably the most uninhabitable planet in the solar system. You would melt. So I just think that life is so extremely rare, and time is so extremely long, and space is so extremely big that I'm repeating myself because I have talked about this in a video somewhere. The idea that you could look at the galaxy in long-term time as almost like Christmas tree lights with just civilizations popping up all over the place, and it's teeming with life, but they all go away before the next one pops up. And maybe as you're watching it at super, super fast speed, it looks like just they're all kind of lighting up at the same time, but in fact they're actually lighting up at different times. And maybe that's the future of our civilization. We're destined to blink out as well. Of course, I hope not. But I just think it's so, time is so long, space is so big, life is so rare that there's been countless life forms out there, but it's very rare for them to happen at the same time. I want to go on the record as saying I really hope we find aliens someday. I think that would be amazing, and I want to be here on this planet when that happens. I would love to be part of that period of time on this Earth. Some people are afraid of that. I think it would be amazing. I would love to see that. But that's my answer. Is that a good answer? I don't know. People don't like that answer. They want a simpler answer, but to me, that's the best one. Welcome to my brain. So Tom from Green Shorts, how would your current YouTube vocation jibe with the crossroads of should and must? So I kind of got Tom into that book, didn't I? I turned you onto that book. And you actually had a good idea that maybe on the TMI channel or something. By the way, I do have a second channel, if you guys don't know. It's called Joe Scott TMI. It's just daily vlog stuff. It's not daily, but it's just like day in the life kind of stuff. Every once in a while I wax philosophical or talk about things that just don't quite fit on this channel, but generally it's just a very loosey-goosey, here's what's going on with my day kind of thing. Don't destroy it, buddy. Don't destroy it. Love it. Love your binky. Don't destroy the binky. Just love him. Stroke him. That's good, mini-me. Yeah. So this Crossroads of Should and Must book, actually I probably should go back and reread it because I'm forgetting a little bit of what was in there. But it talks about how like you have your musts, the things creatively, spiritually that you have to do in your life, the things that move you, that drive you, that make you happy, that give you a charge, that the Japanese or the Okinawans would call it ikigai, the thing that drives you and gives you purpose. That's your must. And then there's the shoulds, and those are the jobs you have to, you got to pay your rent, you got to keep your kids fed, you got to, all those things, keep gas in your car, and those are your shoulds. You got to go to work, you got to do the thing, you got to, do the stuff that's not that pleasant to get by. And of course, the crossroads of should and must is when you can find that place in your life when you can actually do the thing that gives you the charge and puts you out there and fulfills you creatively and everything. And that thing is what is also what's paying your bills, and it's your should. It's when you can get there, it's the whole thing of like, if you do what you love for a living, you're not really working anymore. So you're asking, how would my current job on doing YouTube, how does that fit with that model? It's pretty darn close, man. I gotta be honest. I was talking earlier about how I would love to be able to do more creative stuff with this, and as the channel gets bigger, I think I'll be able to. I don't want to fall into too much of a formulaic thing of me just sitting here kind of talking about stuff and making jokes. I don't want you guys to get tired of it. I don't want to get tired of it. So there's still a little wiggle room. There's still a perfecting thing going on here. I'm not quite to that place where it's like, I am fulfilling my purpose on this planet and making good money doing it. I'm not quite there, but it's getting there. It's going in that direction. And I'd be lying if I said it wasn't 85% there already. I'm a pretty happy guy these days, and I'm very lucky. And when I come in here and I do these things and I fawn all over you guys and I toast you and I thank you and everything, I really hope it doesn't come off as being, I don't know, YouTubery or something. I know I love you guys. I'm not trying to be like that. I am genuinely so thankful that I get to do this and that you guys are out there supporting me, and it really is genuine, guys. It means a lot to me. Okay. David Hayes, $25. Wow, thank you, man. You are in military stuff too. Thank you for your service. Joe, I just want to say you love your vids. So much info and crazy topics. I agree. This is the first live stream I've seen. Keep it up, brother. I always read that in like Hulk Hogan. Keep it up, brother. Would love to pick my brain sometime. I would rather you not pick my brain because I need all of it I can get. I'm talking about physically. You didn't mean it like that. It was a turn of phrase. I'm so funny. Laugh. No, thank you very much for that. That's very nice. This is the first live stream you've seen. It's because I don't do very many of them. Like I said, it's probably been at least a year since I've done one of these. One of the guys that I was hanging out with at VidCon, by the way, his name's Nick Nimmin. He's sort of these, if you're not really like into YouTube or running in YouTube channels or anything like that, he might not be your cup of tea because that's what he talks about. That's his thing. I like Nick. We've gotten to hang out a few times. But where was I going with that? Oh, the live streams. He does, I want to say, weekly live streams, he and his brother, that go for like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. I'm not even joking. Like, they're all at least 3 hours long. Sometimes they've gone as long as 6. And I'm just like, oh. I mean, I've been doing this for a little over an hour and a half, and I'm exhausted. I don't know how he does it. Jake, be nice. You're starting to get all mean. He's starting to destroy this toy. I was just saying, he never destroys his toy, and now he's got this toy, and he's being nice to it, and now he's destroying it. He's eating its guts out. Don't do that. Love the binky. You need to love it. Love the binky. I can't tell if I'm doing Dr. Evil or Lorne Michaels right now. It's probably more Lorne Michaels. Before you start thinking I have downed an entire bottle of wine, it was half empty when I started, so... C Fear says, is it possible to harvest radiation and convert it? Harvest like solar radiation, well, there's solar radiation, but also like cosmic radiation. Radiation is a lot of things. So it makes me think of the space solar thing that I did recently. Because you are capturing radiation in space and you're beaming it down to Earth as microwave radiation. So you're converting it a couple of times. So I would say, yeah. I mean, it all depends on what you mean by radiation. That's a big thing. Mark is in there again. You have Patreon. You have the YouTube join. You should start doing a Bitcoin donation address in the video comments. It will cost you nothing. Okay. Yeah. I get that a lot. I get that a lot. People asking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin or any of the cryptocurrencies. I do have like a Coinbase account or something set up. I don't know. It's just, it's not something I've been able to really put time or effort or thought into right now. Hang on. Am I going to have to take that away from you? Am I going to have to take that away? Be good. He's just looking at me like a big dumb dog he is. Be good to it. That's your baby. Why would you do that to your baby? You're eating your baby's brains. He's a monster. B.S. Sheehan says, what do you think of hydrogen as a fuel in the internal combustion engine? Oh, who was just talking about that the other day? The idea of taking water, applying electricity to it, taking out the hydrogen and the oxygen, using that as combustion. That's like a certain type of engine. And of course, there's a lot of conspiracy theories around that. But I think electrolysis actually takes a lot of energy, and you lose a lot of energy in that process. Like, you actually don't get as much out of it as you would if you just like stored that energy in a battery. So that's my understanding. I'm on very shaky ground there, but that's my understanding of it. And thank you for the $5. Das Bach C. I don't know what that means. I'm making pancakes. Please keep going till I'm done. Guys, we got to keep going till the pancakes are done. That's the saying. The show ain't over till the pancakes are done, I think. Shout out to Chino Hills, California. Alex Padilla. Yo, what up? To Chino Hills. I'm sorry I did that. I'll never do that again. Harry Evett, who has an awesome YouTube channel of his own and is in Patreon. Love you, Harry. So glad to have you on the team, and you do some amazing graphics, and I'm going to eventually force my needs onto you. He just chimed in with a couple of beers. Thank you for that. DJ Pickle 68, please mention SETI at home. They're looking for alien life and need our support. By the way, love your channel. I mentioned it before, but yeah, I mean, if you guys aren't familiar with SETI at home, Google that. Hello. Yeah, it's a thing where you can actually get involved, and they can use your computer to go through radio. I think it's radio, isn't it? It's radio astronomy. Anyway, they use your computer to basically crunch astronomical data so that they can look for anomalies that could possibly point to extraterrestrials. No, I'm totally on board with what they're doing. I think that's super cool. So yeah. Ricardo Ferreira, just hi from Brazil. Love your videos and our ludicrous feature. Thanks you, man. Thanks you, man. That's how people talk. No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Will SNZ, greetings from Middle Earth. You're from New Zealand. All right. Do come visit. You have yummy Pinot. Okay. Congrats on the 500K. Thanks for everything. Cheers. Thank you for that very much. Pinot's good. I like Pinot. Malbec is actually my jam. That's usually that's my default, but we're out of Malbec here now, so I'm going to have to go get me some Mo. Keep the gas in your car. Excuse me. I think you mean the charging your battery. Give me a break. It's a phrase. Come on now. Blake is saying, keep it rolling. Love the vids. Mr. Stalking Butler asks if I'm in for Area 51. No, I'm not. I really want this thing to be over with. Okay, so yeah, you're saying cosmic radiation to use it as fuel source for interstellar travel. I don't know. That seems like an Isaac Arthur question. Go ask Isaac. He knows his stuff. I don't know. I could imagine. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm going to be honest and say I don't know. So, okay, I'm in the live chat now. So Jonathan Hutton asked, what editing program do I use? Well, I don't edit anymore, thanks to Nick, but we use Adobe Premiere Pro, which I used Final Cut Pro for many, 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 many years. And then they changed all that stuff. And I was like, if I'm going to have to learn everything all over again, I might as well switch over to Adobe because they have that whole ecosystem. So I did that. Bang, bang, skeet, skeet. We must keep subscribing. Keep subscribing, says Ian Campbell. I like the cultishness of what you just said. So culty. Ricardo saying I should visit Chile for the best Merlot. I'm not into Merlot. I'm into Malbec. That's Argentina. Same continent. Let's see. Tony is asking how cool was the SpaceX Fireball. So we do talk about that on our Ludicrous Future. Tim talked about it yesterday. I didn't realize that there was actually kind of 2 explosions. So they did the test, and then 4 minutes later, it just kind of like burst into flames. And they're still trying to figure out why exactly. But technically, it was a successful test. The engine fired, and then the thing happened. But we do talk about that in the thing, and should be out tomorrow, so you can check that out. So Shadowcat Yoda Cat is asking for science fiction book suggestions, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I could use some of those myself. Guys, this is the stuff I read. And I'm really trying to get out of just it's pretty dense. And it's fascinating, and I'm into it, but I really need to be reading more fiction. I want to be reading more fiction. So I would be up for any suggestions as well. Rebo just woke up. What's going on? This is going on, man. Life. Right now. Welcome to it. Am I going to have Neuralink implanted? Asks Jacob Holm Bisgard. Assuming that things move forward with Neuralink, and again, there's a video coming where I'll be talking about all this. I'm trying not to spill the beans too much, but I have said for the longest time that all these people that are like, I would never get that done, I would never get that done, are the same people that would say, I used to say I would never get a smartphone, or I would never, get on or buy something online. I remember that. I remember when people were just like, there's no way I would ever pay for something online. That's insane. We all do it now, and it's like the way we all go about our lives. I do believe, as insane as an idea like Neuralink is, when we get to the point, it's going to be a long process. It's going to be used on in medical applications, first and foremost, for paraplegics, quadriplegics. It's going to be all about giving them some mobility and ability to communicate again. And by the time it gets to the point where you can go down to the mall, if malls still exist, and get a Neuralink implanted in your head, and a lot of people are doing it, there will become a point where you will feel like you are falling behind if you don't. It's the same reason people got on Facebook, right? Like, there were so many people that just were kicking and screaming getting dragged into Facebook because everybody else was on it. And that was like, suddenly if you weren't on there, you weren't invited to events and you didn't know about things, it's like, fine, I'll do it. Yes, Neuralink is far more extreme than signing up for Facebook, but I've said it before, I'm sticking to this. If everybody else is doing it and you start seeing it as a detriment that you're not in that place or doing that thing, you will do it. And there are some people that are just going to flat out going to say they're never going to do it. There are people who won't get online right now. Okay. Well, you're going to be, okay, you have that right. Nobody's going to force you to do it, but you're going to be kind of left behind. That's my true belief. Everybody that says they're never going to do it, I'm like, there's a lot of things we said we would never do that we do every minute of the day now. So that's my statement on that. Let me jump back into the super chats because I think I missed some. I really want to make sure you guys know that you're being recognized, and I appreciate it. Scott Gilliand, keep up the great work, Joe. Love the videos. Appreciate that. Pancake guys, the pancakes are halfway done. There's just a few more minutes. We got to make it through. We got to survive. We got to make it through the pancakes. I love that I'm getting updates on somebody's pancake making right now. Das Baxi. I don't know what that stands for, and I can't pronounce it. I'm not even going to try, but man, you got to stop talking about pancakes. That sounds really good. I had dumplings for dinner. There's a place right down the street from me that makes dumplings, and they're really good. And they also make this tea I'm almost done with it. But it's jasmine tea with pomegranate pearls because I am a man. No, it's delicious though. I've tried to describe this to people, and the only way I can describe it sounds disgusting, but I'm telling you, it's delicious and delightful. The word delightful is the only right word here. It tastes like your grandma's drawer smells. It tastes like your grandma's like makeup drawer. It's just floral and nice, and it tastes really good. And you got these little pomegranate pearls in there that just burst in your mouth. And I'm really gonna stop talking about this now. Okay, that's where I had dinner tonight. And now you're talking about pancakes, and I really want pancakes now. So thanks, bud. Let me see. Did I have something else on the agenda? This was meant to be just sort of a long Q&A kind of thing, just hanging out. Okay, we're doing good. So cool. Okay, so Ricardo chimed in with books. So there's Dune. I need to read Dune. The Expanse books. I need to watch the Expanse series on Amazon Prime. The Three-Body Problem, Neuromancer, Ender's Game, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Martian, The Foundation trilogy. I've read one of those things, so I need to get caught up. All right, jasmine and Earl Grey tea. I do love me some Earl Grey tea. If you flavor Earl Grey tea just right, it kind of tastes like Fruit Loops. It's a true story. I kind of like it. Seattle dude is asking, I've been to Seattle. I have. Ton of growth lately. Yeah, I got a friend that lives out there named Marla. I'd love to go see her. But no, my wife and I, we went there 2015 or 2016, something like that. It's been a few years. But we really liked it. Yeah, it's nice. Probably more expensive than I would. That's the only thing. Like whenever I go to the West Coast and I see these beautiful places, it has this nice weather and everything, I'm always like, God, I want to live here, but it's so expensive. It's hard to justify leaving a place where, the housing is somewhat reasonable. So Brett Rainey is saying, if you're looking for he says, massive fan, thank you. If looking for a science fiction story, the show, not the movie, 12 Monkeys, is finished and is the best take on time travel I've seen. So there's a TV show, like a show called 12 Monkeys? Of course I know the movie. If there is, I'll check that out. I thought the movie was great. By the way, the movie was based off of, this is a little something I learned in radio, TV, film school. There was a French movie called La Jetée. I think it's La Jetée. But it is a movie that is told, it's a very experimental film from like the 50s or 60s, told in still frames. So it was black and white, and it was like still frames, and it was with narration, and it was a story of 12 monkeys. And I'm not trying to spoil it, so earmuffs if you don't want to know how 12 Monkeys works, but it's a story about a guy who, as a child, witnessed a man getting murdered, and then he grows up in dystopia, and he time travels, and he winds up realizing that the whole gag is that at the end you find out that the guy that he saw getting murdered when he was a kid was actually him as an adult. So but that's where 12 Monkeys came from. It was one of those interesting little things that like sometimes people ask if it's worth it to get a film degree, and no, it's not. When it all comes down to it, to be honest. But there were a lot of really cool movies that I saw in film school that I never would have even heard of otherwise. So that was one of them. So I just wanted to like kind of call it up. Guys, the pancakes are done. Buttermilk honey, if you are curious. Says Das Bach. Das Bach. Sorry. Well, I hope you enjoy your pancakes. Everybody, let's raise a toast to pancakes, which doesn't really go with wine. It goes well with coffee. Jeffrey W. asked if I'm excited about Top Gun. I've not watched the trailer, but I did hear that one dropped today. It's a magical time of year. San Diego Comic-Con. Suddenly there's all these trailers that just like appear out of nowhere. True story. As I'm sitting here talking about these obscure movies I watched in film school, I've never seen Top Gun. Truly, I've never seen Top Gun. I don't know if I should or not. The end. So YouGadget TV has posted this a couple of times, and why not? It's funny. Scientists, we don't fully understand how the brain works. Elon, shut up and connect the goddamn Bluetooth already. I agree. That is how Elon does. That is how Elon do. Adrian Gonzalez says, if you're looking for a show, Westworld was incredible. You know what? It really was. I saw the first season, and I never saw the second one. Are they on the third yet? It was good. I think the second season came back when I started doing YouTube full time, and just my time was just completely eaten up, and I haven't had a chance to see it. Debbie B says, I am getting silly. You don't know silly. That was more saucy, really. Shoshana says, I should drink more. Working on it. Calm down. Seven Eves. That book is phenomenal, says Richard Hall. Jim tells me I didn't miss anything with Top Gun. Fair enough. Altered Carbon. Kieran Maloney mentions Altered Carbon. Blah, blah, Altered Carbon. I didn't finish that. I saw like the first 3 or 4 episodes, and then life happened, and I never got back to it. I did like it, though. I did like it. A show that just started on HBO, and I've only seen the first episode of it. I think there's 3 or 4 of them that are out now. It's called Years and Years, and it's sort of set in a near future, like 2024 or something like that, where the world, like civilizations, collapse. I just keep going back to this theme. Anyway, I've only seen that one episode, but I really liked it, and I read a really good review where they were talking about how like this is what the collapse of civilization would feel like, and I haven't gotten that far into it, but I've liked what I've seen so far. Aaron Skyle says, I like the PBS physics channel, but I can understand. I think you got cut off there. I guess you're talking about the Spacetime, PBS Spacetime. I've never, what is his name? Shoot, Matt. His name's Matt, right? I've never met Matt, but I've seen him at various things. This isn't a diss track. I like PBS Spacetime. A lot of times I just get completely lost, though. I got to be honest. Like sometimes I get frustrated because I'm like, you're not distilling this far enough. You know, he still kind of talks over my head quite a bit, and maybe it's just for smarter people than me. That's always possible, but. Billy Brummett. Well, thank you, sir. Great job, Joe. Love the evolution of your channel. Always fascinating content. Thanks for going full time. So good. Dude, I was thrilled to be going full time when I finally did it. I was kind of broke at first. For about half a year, I was kind of like, I'll be just fine as long as I don't pay taxes. That'll never come back and get me. They came back and got me. Mr. Stalking Butler is asking, do you think the Giza pyramids were really tombs? I mean, yeah. I'm sure they served multiple purposes. They were very, astronomical, and their religion was very hardcore, so it could have had other purposes, but yeah. Zerlan says, congrats on the 500K. Been enjoying your content. Thank you, sir, very much. PBS is being awesome. Go on Netflix. We got a lot of new movies. Okay, that's our holiday. Is Jezium. Igezium, whatever. Says, love the channel. Neuralink scares me because I keep thinking that someone could just shut us all off with the right hack. Okay, I'm gonna very vaguely respond to this because a lot of this is gonna be answered soon in a video. But I think ultimately it's more like there might be a long-term future where we're totally connecting our brains to simulated universes and stuff, and maybe if it could be hacked, somebody could get in there and screw with you in some way. But early on and practically in the near term, we're really looking more at just like the motor cortex and just figuring out, by the way, there's already things that can do this. There was a Seeker video, and I can't remember the company's name right now, but they had an armband that could sort of read the nerve impulses of your arm, and you could kind of just think about moving your fingers, and it would move a cursor around on screen. And that's through the skin using these neurons over here. So the idea of like having all that implanted in your motor cortex right up here in your brain, the kind of things that you could do with that, is kind of mind-blowing. So could somebody hack into your motor cortex and make you do something you don't want to do? I mean, we're looking really long-term at that kind of thing. My immediate thing is like, look, this is going to be helping, paralyzed people to live more normal lives and communicate. That's nothing but a good thing. So let's just focus on that for now. I'm not too worried about the Black Mirror part of it. For now, it is something to be looking at, but yeah. There was a fake Joe in the live chat? What was that about? Ain't nobody can fake me. Kenneth Regan just says good evening. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you very much. My voice is starting to go, isn't it? Let's see. Tis Jester Triple X says you can already turn people off by killing them. You seem like an interesting fella. All right. Nope. Hang on. I gotta save my dog's toy from my dog. Look at what he's doing. See, this is what I'm talking about. He's like, come on, dude. How could you do that to him? You murderer. You heinous animal. Just give me the sad face. But this is what winds up happening with every toy that is not like Nylabone or Kongs. Kongs usually last a while. And this one had lasted for a little bit. He was like treating it nice and he was carrying it around and it was so cute. And then he had to go and like turn into a friggin' wolf. Still love you, buddy. Still love you. Somehow. Shawn is saying check out David Weber books like Safehold. Okay. Augustus Villanueva. Damn it. Is it legal to selectively breed a lot animal, then releasing those selectively bred wild animals out into the wild? I may not know what the term lot animal means. That might be something that didn't translate. Is it legal to selectively breed and releasing those selectively bred animals out into the wild? Augustus, I'm going to apologize. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, and if it's a legal question, I can guarantee you I don't know the answer. I don't know the legality of raising and releasing animals, so I'm sorry. I have no good answer for you there, but I appreciate the super chat. 21 Pilots Addict says hi from Texas. Hello back from Texas. It's like a big state or something. All right, Christopher Pinland says, "Hey Joe, congrats on the major achievement." Thank you. It's a major award. It's like a leg lamp. This is the leg lamp of YouTube. Thank you. Was curious to ask, was it a challenge to admit that what you did recently about your changing views in alignment with the scientific community? Was it a challenge to admit that my views had changed, basically is what you're asking me? No, not really. No. Guys, I try to keep it real with you. I mean, I'm a human being, and I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm going to think wrong things, and I'm going to change my mind when I get better information that comes in. I think that's what you guys like about me, or at least I get told that a lot, that I don't try to pretend to be something I'm not. I hate talking head gurus that talk like they know everything, because my opinion is nobody really knows everything. Some people definitely have the experience and the scholarship and the know-how that they should be weighed heavier. Their opinion should be weighed heavier than other people. I do believe in experts, but and I rely on those experts. But I would never. I know what I am, and I'm not gonna paint that to you guys. I'm not gonna tell you guys I'm a thing that I'm not. So if my mind changes on something, I don't have a problem putting it out there and sharing it with you. And I don't have really an ego about that. I mean, I'm just kind of going through this life like everybody else is. So, anyway. Jed Man, I'm the worst with names. Verstraeten. Jed Verstraeten says we should have a drunk science history with Joe. I don't know how these people who do like drunk history or drunk kitchen channels, I don't know how they. I can't drink that much anymore. I really can't. Like, this is probably going to be a problem later on. I'm weirdly, I don't know if it's because of my diet or if it's an age thing or what, but I've gotten to this place now where like I can drink and I don't really get that drunk, but the next day I'm totally hungover. it's like I get all the bad sides of it for some reason. Anyway, I do like to have a drink when I do live streams though, because it just kind of loosens you up, and sometimes I need that. Like I said, I'm much better at being scripted. Simon Laplace. Do you have any plans to expand your audience, like participate in other creators' channels or appear in the Joe Rogan podcast? It's funny. I get people every once in a while. It's like, why don't you go on Joe Rogan? It's like, you don't just go on Joe Rogan. You got to be invited. I mean, yeah, of course, I want to expand my audience, and I want to be doing more podcasts. I mean, obviously, our Ludicrous Future is my podcast that I do with these guys, but I've been wanting to kind of appear in more places. A couple of people that I saw when I was in VidCon is a channel called Healthy Junk Food. Has nothing to do with anything that this channel is about, but they do the world's biggest pizza. They like, we ordered everything from Taco Bell kind of thing. Like they're a really fun cooking / food channel, and they're great people. They've been I met them like 4 years ago at VidCon, the very first time I went, and they are gigantic now. I got to see them last week literally for like 5 minutes. That was all they had. Was 5 minutes to come over and give me a hug and say hi and check in, and then they had to go to a place that I wasn't allowed because I'm not big enough, and they are. It's JP and Julia. They're awesome people, and I wish I could have seen them a little bit more. But anyway, one of the things that JP said in the 5 minutes that we got to talk was, you guys think my channel has grown fast? Their channel has just, I mean, they're like 2.5 million viewers right now. It's insane, and it's a whole other. It's another planet that they live on. And he said something just very briefly about, like, they say yes to everything. Like, everything. Every request they get to go places or appear anywhere, they go. Like, they just don't stop. And of course, the bigger you get, the more of those opportunities that come up. And I could tell you a story real quick. I have a regret. I have a major regret from this last year. Do you want to hear my major regret? I'm gonna have to drink a little bit. This is like a bucket list thing that I cannot believe I didn't do this. Okay, so I'm slowly getting into a place in my career where there are people that kind of tell me what to do. People that sort of manage my time and tell me what's a good thing to spend my time on, what's not worth spending my time on, those kinds of things. A thing came up, and I listened to somebody that said it's not worth it to do this, that they weren't going to offer enough money for me to do it. Actually, I don't think they were offering any money at all. And so this person was like, don't do it. They're not paying you. And I was like, okay, I'll listen to you because, I don't know what I'm doing. And then looking back now, I'm just like, oh, you dick. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? This is something I would pay to do, and I turned it down. Like, I would pay to do this, and I turned it down. Just because and this person, I don't blame them for saying what they said. They're doing their job. But what I learned from this experience was I need to learn that, like, there are some things that you can't really put a price on. There's experiences that are worth doing. And I'm lucky enough to be in a place where I could get the opportunity to do some really cool stuff, and I should take that opportunity. Anyway, I'm putting off what I'm saying here. I got invited to participate in a thing for Was it National Geographic? It was either National Geographic or the History Channel. I think it was National Geographic. Anyway, they had a Mars show. It was a show on like potential future Mars missions. And they were promoting it by having some YouTubers come out and do the vomit comet, do the zero gravity thing, and shoot footage of themselves in zero gravity on that plane that does the parabolic flight and gives you like 30 seconds of zero gravity at a time. And it was sort of like I go do that and I kind of show that experience, and then I, of course, promote the show. I mean, I have sponsors. That's how that works. And I guess they kind of wanted to do it for free, and my guy was like, no, don't do that for free. But now I wish I'd done it. I really wish I'd done it. I've always wanted to go up in a zero-G plane. I've always wanted to experience a vomit comet, and I had that opportunity to do that for free, and I didn't take it. I listened to the wrong advice, and I'm telling you, if that were offered to me right now, I would make a different decision, because I've always wanted to do that. That's totally a bucket list thing, and I missed out on it. And so y'all are saying it was National Geographic, okay. And if you follow Veritasium, Derek on Veritasium, he did do that. So like a month after I got this email, and I was like, no, I'm too cool for this, I see Derek's video where he went up in the vomit comet, and I was like, A, I could have gone up in the vomit comet. B, I could have hung out with Derek Mueller from Veritasium. What the hell is wrong with me? Oh my God. It was such a great opportunity, and I didn't do it. So, long story short, if anything like that ever comes up again, I'm definitely taking it, because that is a huge regret that I have over the last year. I wish I'd done that. Anyway. Let's see. Well, you know what? I think I might want to start kind of wrapping this up. We're going 2 hours now. And there's still like 1,100 people watching. That's awesome. Yeah, I think you guys are feeling. I can see in the live chat. You guys are like, oh my God, why? Why didn't you do that? I know. Yes, I'm right there with you. I don't know what I was thinking. I was listening to somebody else. I didn't trust my own instinct. And I've heard other people talk about this. You get to a point where people start kind of telling you the right thing to do, and it's okay. It's not their fault. They're trying to do the right thing, and I don't blame the guy that said not to do it at all. I am the master of my domain. I am the spirit of my soul. What is that? I don't know. Anyway, I have the ability to say, no, I'm going to do that because that sounds awesome. And I should have just done it. Maybe I'll get another chance. We'll see. Josue Castillo, didn't Physics Girl go up with him? Yeah, I believe she did. No, there were people I would have loved to have hung out with, and I could have done it. So I'm going to stop wallowing in it now, but that was definitely something I wish I'd done. Albert Jackinson is asking if he can get his question answered in the comments later. Probably not. I'm being honest with you. Here's your chance. We got probably another like 10 minutes. I'm going to shut this down. So let's see if I catch it. Financial Education 101 says, words I live by, think about whether or not you'd be unhappy not having done it, or would you be unhappy having done it, with the worst possible outcomes either way. Usually FOMO gets me there. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah. Guys are flying in here. What did I do before YouTube? Asks Tis Jester XXX. For 12 years, well, I mean, I've been around for a while now. For 12 years before this, I worked at the Dallas Morning News. I left the Dallas Morning News and worked, I worked in the advertising department of the Dallas Morning News. I was an advertising copywriter. That was my minor in college. My major was radio, TV, film. So right out of college, my first job was at an advertising agency. The recession hit. I got let go. I was underemployed, just kind of scrounging for a very long time. Went bankrupt. Made a film, because that's what you do when you go bankrupt, I guess. From that film, I got to do some editing work, some screenwriting work, just to kind of fill in the gaps for a while. Got the steady job at the Dallas Morning News. Health insurance is a good thing, turns out. So is dental insurance, which I had not gone to the dentist for a long time, and I made up for that. So I complained about my desk job at the Dallas Morning News because it was a job, you know. But truth of the matter is, it was a good job. I learned a lot, met a lot of good people, and it kind of kept me stable while I was able to build this. So there you go. And now I do this. So, Green Shorts is saying that Simone went to... Oh, man. See, I meant something. Stop rubbing it in. Okay. Oh, man. I've thrown back a lot. Let me jump into the Super Chats. I think I missed some here. I want to make sure I thank you guys. By the way, if you haven't noticed, I make that sound... I'm trying to think. Give me a second. Now Das Bach is looking for some syrup. You're on your own on that one, buddy. That was actually a while back. Okay, so Augustus said, sorry, I missed this last one. I meant wild animals, not law animals. Okay, that was a spell check error. I was wondering if such an experiment was ever conducted and what your thoughts on such an experiment would be. Okay, so I guess you're talking about like taking wild animals out of the wild, or like baby wild animals, raising them in captivity and then releasing them into the wild. Is that what you're asking? I don't know what kind of legal requirements there are for that. And obviously it depends on the animal. If it's like a bobcat or a bear or something like that, there's probably different rules around it. I'm not very schooled in that part of thinking. Can't even talk anymore. I mean, I know people raise wild animals and release them into the wild all the time, but I don't know what the legal stuff is around that. So Ricardo says, midnight for me. Good night, Joe, and all in the chat. Thanks for your channel and your input on all of our questions. To be honest, bring Answers with Joe back at least once a month, please. What are you talking about, bring Answers with Joe back? I do it every Monday. What are you talking about? But thank you for all that. And good night. Favorite topic I've ever talked about? Asks Zahando. Wow, okay. Favorite topic I've ever talked about. Oh man, I hate this question. For some reason, whenever people ask me like what was my favorite video I ever did, it's funny because it's not my favorite topic, but the blockchain video that I did, and the reason why I always go back to that in my mind, it's just like the first thing that pops up, is because it was a video that just kind of wound up being really funny. It wound up being way funnier than it should have been. And like I finished it and I watched it and I was like, I did something right there. I don't know what I did right, but I did something right there. So I always go back to that one. Like if I can watch something that I did and I laugh out loud at it, that's pretty good. And there was something about that video that, I don't know, maybe I have a weird sense of humor. It just, I don't know. I did something that I liked. The inbreeding video is, to this day, I feel like if I can make every video that quality, I would be really happy. I thought that was really funny. I thought it was really informative. It did some different, interesting stuff. It was a bit more creative. And yeah. What made me really happy about the inbreeding video is that, and I talked about this when it came out, I almost get nervous when I make a video and I really like it. Like, it's almost better if I don't like a video. It's almost better if it's just like, yeah, okay, and I put it out there and I don't really think about it. And then if it does well, great. If it doesn't do well, whatever. You know, it was just a video. But when I really like a video, when like... And by the way, another little shout out to Nick, my editor. One thing that I like about working with him and having him edit as opposed to me spending the time editing is that I get to kind of watch it the way you guys do. You know what I mean? If I'm editing something and I'm spending 20, 30 hours editing it and I'm piecing it all together and I'm in there and I'm like, you know, in the trenches of putting the whole thing together, there's no like surprise. I can't really see it with your eyes. I see it all through the mentality and the cognizance that I had putting it together. But when Nick edits something and he just sends it over and I get to just see it. I mean, obviously I wrote it and I, performed it or whatever, but like he stitches it all together. And sometimes I spit out my drink because I'm just like, oh my God, that was so much funnier than I thought it'd be. Or he added something that I wasn't expecting. And I get to just kind of experience it like you guys do. And I feel like there's a real benefit and a value to that. So where I'm going with that is I watched the inbreeding video, laughed my ass off, thought it was brilliant. I mean, I'm not like, it turned out really well. I'm not calling myself brilliant. I'm just saying it turned out really well. And that's dangerous because I got my hopes up, and that's a bad thing. If you get your hopes up about a video and then people just don't like it, and it's very much off topic for this channel, inbreeding, I was dreading that video coming out just a little bit because I was like, this isn't going to perform as well as I want it to, and I'm going to be devastated. Not devastated, but it's going to hurt. It's going to sting. And then it wound up actually doing really well, and it's just sadly very rare that happens, that I'm like, ooh, I really want this video to do well, and then it does well. It did really well. It's the second best, most viewed video on the entire channel. So I'm really happy with that one. I mean, on every level, it just worked out right. And sometimes you just catch that lightning in a bottle, and sometimes you don't. And that was kind of one of those cases. So anyway, very long-winded answer to your question. Cullen Wright, what's the likelihood of you doing an update on quantum computing? Okay, seems like news has stalled on that front. Want to know why I haven't done a video on quantum computing? For that reason. I've been kind of keeping an eye out for news, and there has been some just sort of little incremental stuff. Not enough to make an interesting video out of. I got to be honest. I'm sure I will follow up on it because it performed really well, and I'm very interested in it. But there just really hasn't been anything groundbreaking. I mean, it's kind of like I covered the fundamentals of it. And you know what? Sometimes I have to go back and look at it to remind myself how all that stuff works, because it's just not, it's something that drops out of your brain eventually. But yeah, I mean, that's the answer to your question. If there's something that comes up that is a breakthrough, that's interesting, that I could make something interesting out of, I will definitely revisit it. But I kind of have to wait for something like that to happen. I feel like I've kind of covered what I want to cover on that so far. And thank you for that. $15. That's very nice. Oscar H. Ramirez III. I've enjoyed your videos for a year now, and I've learned tons. Congrats on the milestone. Keep up the great work. Many blessings on your future endeavors. Thank you, Oscar. It's very nice. I appreciate that. Kenneth Regan, also Jaden DSG, sent a little money. Thank you for that. Kenneth Regan, seeding alien worlds versus finding alien life. So you're talking about like us going to Mars and like leaving our bacteria there versus finding bacteria kind of thing. At some point we're just going to have to concede the fact that we're just going to like put our germs everywhere. We're just dirty, dirty creatures. And we're going to find a way to get our dirty, dirty germs all over the solar system. I mean, the second we step foot on Mars, it's now tainted. You could argue it's already tainted because we've sent probes out there, and yes, we've done everything we can to sterilize them, but there's got to be something that, I mean, human beings touch that stuff. It's going to be up. There's something up there. There's something that's already on Mars that we put there. There's a tardigrade just kind of walking around on Mars. But if you're asking which I would rather see, us seeding alien worlds or finding alien life, I think I'd rather find alien life. I really would. I think that just changes so many things about our place in the universe. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but that's my answer. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to start to sort of wrap this up just a little bit, guys. It's been a couple of hours. My voice is going, and I still have scripts to work on. And Kenneth is agreeing with me. Extremophiles, exactly. Video on the origin of heavy elements like uranium. Maybe. Stars, right? I mean, it's all just from supernovas, right? 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 Creator Generator says he expects there's life under Mars. Yes, I agree with that. Edgar Casey. I do know a little bit about Edgar Casey. I think that would be a good video format. I don't know that much about Edgar Casey, but I know he's kind of a kooky guy. So that brings up a good question. Hang on. One thing that I actually really enjoy doing on the channel is biographies or bio videos, like the one on H.H. Holmes. There's the one on Alan Shepard. Those are two very different guys. Lucida Zarate. I like the idea of doing bio videos, biographical videos. I will say, though, they don't generally perform very well. So I've been reluctant to really go down that route. But I've already got a few under my belt, and I am interested in that stuff. And ultimately, I kind of have to follow that when it comes to running this channel. If there's something I enjoy doing, I need to kind of dip into that, because those are the things that are going to kind of keep me going creatively and whatnot. So I don't know. That's not a question, really. I'm just saying that's a thing that I want to do more of. I'm a little leery about it, though, because they just haven't performed that well. And like I said, it always kind of goes into, like, if it's something you guys really enjoy and it's something that I really am into, that's a beautiful place. And right now it's kind of, they're not quite connecting on the biographical videos thing. So if you have ideas for that, and if you have thoughts, I would love to hear them, because it is something I would like to do more of. Do one on DB Cooper, says Moon Mission. God, I love the DB Cooper story. That's got to do it now. I mean, there's not really much to say about DB Cooper that hasn't already been said, but it's good though. It's such a good story. Yeah. Mrs. Fixit, has anyone ever told me that I'm adorable? You just made my day. Everybody tell Mrs. Fixit thank you for giving me some shred of self-confidence. That's weird. I don't know this feeling. I don't know what that is. I am adorable. I have been told that before, but it's usually by very biased people, so I'm really easy to just kind of be like, whatever. But thank you very much. That's very nice. I handle compliments so well, as you can tell. Somebody wants another Answers with Zoe. Did you know that video got demonetized? Yeah, my Answers with Zoe video got demonetized. I think it's because I put a hashtag April Fool's Day on there, because it was April Fool's Day. That was kind of the whole point. And I think YouTube was just kind of demonetizing all of those just because it was April Fool's Day joke videos. I probably could have fought it, but whatever. That wasn't the point of that day. But yeah. Do a face reveal, asks Cam. What face do you think I'm hiding? Do you think this is like V, like I'm going to pull it off and I'm a lizard person or something? There you go. Creator Generator mentions Simon Whistler. Yeah, he has a couple of YouTube channels, one biographical. I really like his channels. I like their content. I kind of wish his delivery was less robotic. It does kind of get on my nerves every once in a while. Again, I'm not picking on Simon Whistler. I love his stuff. He's done really well too. He's done really well. But yes, I get it. Why do I make that sound? I do it every time. You said in your previous videos that the subs double twice a year-ish. Does that still hold true? So that's Financial Education 101. I feel like I should be watching your channel. I need to be educated on finances. No, that is not holding true right now. Look, the growth that I've seen on my channel this year, I'm perfectly happy with it. I mean, my God, for me to complain about the growth of my channel would be just ridiculous. So stupid. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to complain about it. But it has not kept up the pace from the previous years in terms of that sort of exponential growth, which, let's face it, it had to end eventually. You can't just do that forever. if the rate of growth continues the way it's been, which I think it's a pretty fair assumption that it will, assuming I continue to put out content the way I am. I'm looking at maybe, I was thinking about this yesterday, probably 600,000 on the low end, 700,000 if things go well, maybe 800,000 as a stretch goal, maybe. So if I do get to 600,000, actually, okay, hang on. If I get to 700,000, then it will have doubled this year because I started the year with 385, I believe. So if I get to 700, we're looking at pretty close to doubling ish. But it's certainly, right now, that's a stretch goal. I think that's stretching it a little bit. If somehow, what am I trying to say? It's not going to double more than once this year. If I'm lucky, it'll double once. But again, not complaining about it. I'm in such a good place right now, and I'm really happy, and I'm thankful, and it'll be what it is. I'm able to make a living doing this, and it's awesome. For me to be anything but grateful and happy right now would just be so stupid. Somebody asked, Base Kitten 808 asked, do I know my MBTI type? Some guy on YouTube who basically has a Myers-Briggs channel, or he typed me, and I think he had me at INFJ. I'm a little about it because, look, what I do here, what every YouTuber does here, is not really them. I mean, I try to be as authentic as possible. I certainly don't pretend to be something I'm not, but anytime there's a camera on you, anytime you know people are watching you, you just act differently. You just do. So some of the stuff that he was kind of pointing out, oh, he said this, oh, he said that. I was kind of a douche about it, actually. But like, some of the stuff that he was kind of pointing out, I was like, yeah, but that was a line in a script. That was a joke. You're basing something on a joke. Oh, come on. But I think he had me at INFJ. I don't know what I really am. It seems like I took it once upon a time, and I think it said INFP. I really don't know that much about Myers-Briggs, but that kind of answers your question. Now everybody's talking about the Area 51 thing. I'm sure there's a small number of people that are taking this very seriously and are going to actually show up out there. And I really hope they're small enough and smart enough to get there and see military people with real guns and say, this was a fun little meme. Let's go on our way. I really don't want to see a Branch Davidian thing happen here. I really don't think people are that crazy about this whole thing. What am I talking about? Of course people are that crazy about it. But this is why the whole thing makes me uncomfortable. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get serious here, but the whole thing just makes me uncomfortable. And I know that there's a lot of people that take the whole alien and Area 51 thing and disclosure thing like really seriously. You know what? If all that stuff is real, the truth will come out eventually. Keep doing what you're doing, supporting your worldview there. I'm not going to fight against it. It's interesting stuff. I'm not quite on the same page with a lot of the people in the alien community, but I don't think that their opinion should be quenched too much. I just don't necessarily agree with it. I'm just being honest. But the idea that people are going to go out there and like put themselves in harm's way for this, that bothers me. It really does bother me. I know there's a lot of jokes being thrown around about it, but the whole thing makes me very uncomfortable. I'm just being honest. And I really want to see the whole thing just kind of go away, honestly. Anyway. Maybe I'm telling you guys a little bit about myself and my comfort level, but there you go. Blake Johnson says Joe on Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson would be a great show. Man, I would love to do that. I've been following Star Talk since forever. Brett's asking, what about Bob Lazar? I am super mixed on Bob Lazar, guys. I did just watch that Netflix show. I encourage anybody to watch it if you love that kind of stuff. I grew up all about aliens and ghosts and all that stuff. I love that crap. And I remember Bob Lazar. I remember seeing stuff about Bob Lazar and what's that guy's name? George. I can't remember the last name. I'm sorry, but George, the journalist that kind of broke the whole Bob Lazar story. I love that stuff as stories and as interesting stuff. I just don't take it that seriously. It's just kind of one of these mysteries that I'm kind of fine with it being a mystery. It's fun to me, but I don't take it too seriously. All right. Tell you what. We're getting really into some like deep conspiracy military stuff here that you guys are talking about, and I think that might be a good time for me to shut this down. No, really, we've been going for 2.5 hours, and I got a lot of work I need to do before Monday. I got a video for Monday. George Knapp. Thank you. You guys are correcting me in there. You're right, George Knapp. Better yet, get Joe and Isaac both on Star Talk. I was really hoping Isaac would be at VidCon. I've never met Isaac in person. Obviously, we've talked online. I love the guy. His stuff is amazing, and he's an inspiration to me. So you guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. I think it's time. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it's time to go. The pancakes are done, so it's time to go. And I got just a little bit of wine left. But to close this up, how do I close this up? I didn't have a closing in mind. I just kind of want to repeat what I said before. I am so lucky and I'm so thankful for things to kind of get where they are now and for you guys to kind of be here. There's a lot of people that follow me in comments and even on Patreon that I can tell we disagree on a lot of things. But there's clearly a lot of stuff that we do still agree on. And I don't want to say that support is more important to me than the people who are like right in sync with me in all kinds of ways, because connection is good. Connection is always good. But we live in a time right now when things are so polarized and so divided that any way that we can cross that divide is good. And it's what I really want to do here. It's what I hope to do. Yes, I have my political opinions, and I'm sure many of you disagree with me on those things. And they will come out in a video here and there. And it will probably make you go, "Rrr!" But it's whatever. Okay, we're going to disagree on things. You're going to disagree with other people on things. But let's just be humans, and let's just put connection first. We all connect and share more things than we don't. And all that is to say that one of my favorite things about being on YouTube and doing this has just been this understanding that whatever it is that you're into, whatever you think is really weird about you, there's literally millions of people out there that share it with you. And that has been one of the most amazing things for me to learn doing this and to experience, and I hope that you all get to feel that at some point, because it's an amazing thing to understand that we are not alone in the way we feel about things. We're not alone in the way we see the world, and we're just not alone, you know. And if what I do makes you guys feel a little bit less alone, then my God, it might actually be worth all the time I put into it. And I know you guys have certainly done that for me, so the feeling is mutual, and I thank you all for that. So with that said, thank you guys for just being subscribers on the channel, and for being awesome in comments, and for being here right now. There's still 1,000 people watching this. Insane. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll do I don't know, when's the next time I'll do one of these? I don't know. It's been like a year since the last time. So maybe 750,000? Maybe 1 million? Definitely I'll do something for 1 million, but that's probably a ways out. Anyway. All right. Time to go. Love you guys. I know I say it every video, but I absolutely mean it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for letting me do this. That's all there is to say. Thank you so much for letting me do this. And with that, I'm going to go away now. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Video coming on Monday. Have a great weekend. Have a great everything. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you later. Take care.